Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of GameStop, ticker symbol GME. And here we are looking at the daily chart, and price is not moving because it's the weekend. But if we do look over at GameStop on, Robinhood and their overnight trading, price was, $31 a share when I started the AMC in the money call options video or stream that I started about an hour ago. But now, current price of GameStop is trading right around 32.50, or right around 32.50. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that throughout this stream and into the morning, see where it's trading at during the pre-market, because I think it's going to be a pretty exciting week. And on that note, since some of you may have not been with me in the AMC in the money call options stream I just did, we can look over at Twitter. Roaring Kitty did post again, and this, if you're not familiar, you gotta watch the movie, or at least the opening scene. It's incredible. So what happens in this is the Dark Knight from 2008. This is Heath Ledger's Joker. The first scene you see in the movie, I think, is actually a couple people jumping out of a building, and then you see, or maybe it's, no, I forget. It's been a while since I've seen it. But this is Heath Ledger's back as the Joker, and they're about to rob a bank, and he has a clown mask in his hand. But Roaring Kitty so eloquently edited that mask to be a mask of a cat, the Roaring Kitty. And so I think it's suggesting that, I think a number of things, that there's going to be some volatility to the upside is what I'm thinking, and also that the Joker is the wild card. So maybe he does something that's unpredictable. Maybe he exercises those call options, or some of them, or maybe something else that we're not really thinking about. So yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting week, and so I just wanted to throw that up there. And before I switch this, having it up there, happy weekend, happy Sunday. I hope you guys had a great time. For me, I was working all weekend, and this is the start of my weekend. This is my Friday. I'm off the next couple days, so I wanted to say cheers to you guys. And I'm happy to take requests during this. So just let me know your requests in the chat, and I'll try to go through them one by one. When I add requests from comments, I just get overwhelmed, and then people join later and they don't see that I already went over their ticker. So I'm just happy to do it. If you do request a ticker, I will go over it. And at some point, maybe if I do this stream for an hour, I might need to get another one of these, and then I can continue on if you guys want, but we'll just see, what the demand is. And so, yeah, cheers. All right, now let's switch back over to those charts. And so here's GameStop. And, I had mentioned, levels to the downside, that price could potentially be pulling back. So it's quite possible that what we're seeing in the overnight trading is, fake out, because it's low volume. Maybe, there's some elevation going on to kind of get people to FOMO in, and then maybe price drops when the market opens. Maybe it continues up. And so right now, an hour ago, it was at 31. Now it's actually about 32. It was 32.50 a couple minutes ago. And so I think that, if we wake up and we see it at 35, or maybe getting close to 40, I think maybe that could continue. That seems like there's enough pushing it higher that we could really see it. But if it's still around 32 when we wake up in the morning, I feel like this little bump could be a little bit of a fake out. We kind of saw that. I feel like, let's see. Monday was, 31st and 3rd. Yeah, so this was Monday, and so we opened up here kind of like a fake out, starting the day, the week high, and then we pulled back. And so I think it's good to keep that in mind, and also, think about the different levels that we're, really looking at, because maybe price starts higher, maybe it ends higher. Maybe we get a green candle. But maybe during the day, we see a wick to the downside. Maybe something like this. Who knows? Whatever pattern we get in the chart. But I think, it's good to wait for the dips. And if we're opening above $32, maybe we get a dip to 30. That's, we like our zeros. Maybe that's a good level. But we could also do a Fibonacci retracement here to get an idea of some levels. And like 32, price is currently around 31.80, so it's contending with 32. Maybe that corresponds with a fib level that we might want to be paying attention to. So I'm going to have to add some levels into this. The high on Friday was $48 a share, so that's another one that might be important to be paying attention to. And so what was the low over here? That was 1770. Actually, I think I knew that. I don't expect us to go below 1770 if we do go down. But yeah, so let's see. And then this should be 48. Oh, and I got a yellow notice on my phone. Oh, and I want to add some of these levels. So what I'm seeing on Robinhood, our 24-hour venue, Blue Ocean ATS, accepts trades in a range 20% above or below today's GameStop. Reference price of $27.29. Orders out of that range may be rejected by the venue. And so it's up about 12% in the overnight. So not quite there. And so I'm just going to add all of these levels. We don't need the 100% or the 0 because we know what those are. But let's just looking at this 32.85. Maybe that's a level of importance if we're not around their pre-market. And so, just throwing it out there. But if there are some requests, I see about 7 people have joined. And so let me know if you got some tickers that you want me to go over. I do have some that people have requested. I will be doing a video on plug tomorrow, as well as probably after the market closes, because doing a multi-ticker video. So I'll do plug during market hours, but getting ahead of myself. I plan to do a Bitcoin miners video because it was requested last week, but that will be a multi-ticker video. But I don't want to do that during market hours because maybe I start it and it takes me half an hour to record. And, the prices that it's trading at are different at the end of the video than the beginning. And so I'll probably wait to do that until after the market closes, but I will do a plug power video because that was requested. I usually do those weekly, but it's just been kind of a crazy week at work. I've just been spread pretty thin. Hey, what's up, Marky Mark? If you got a request from me, you let me know and I'll go over it. But I'm trying to just focus it on what's in the live chat because if I don't do that, then I get rambling about some stocks and then people ask me to ramble about them, an hour later. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay, Alan, big. So I'll pull that up, and I think Kevin was asking about that, I believe, in the AMC in the money call options video. And so I'm going to delete some of these. Some of them I want to keep up as reminders. Let's see, because I'm just going to delete all of the ones that I have not looked at. CORZ, though, I'm not too familiar with that, or Lunar, so I just did a video on that. So I'm just going to clean this up a little bit, and then I will add your request. I probably should have done this. Extia, that was requested in a stream before, and I didn't go over it, so I will pull that up if there's interest. And so, I'll just start going in big. And so before I do look at that chart, I will look at what, BNED, Mac Attack. Hey, what's up? And I will do, I apologize for it being such a long delay and not putting out the Bitcoin miner video, but I'll do that tomorrow after close. I'll have all the ones that you requested plus a few more on there. It's tough to do the multi-ticker ones, and then also it's just been a busy weekend for me as far as work goes. Next weekend I'm not working, so just how it goes. But I'll do BNED after I do big lots. Kevin also requested this, so this is kind of a win-win. But I'm just going to read Marky Mark's comment. I'm looking at AMC and GameStop. I have positions them. I know you went over them a lot, but that's just what I'm focused on now. For sure, and I also like to note, if, those are watching now or tuning in later, if you're not interested in AMC and GameStop, I apologize if a lot of my focus is shifting to them right now, but what we're doing here, what I'm doing with the channel is this is trades. And when there's a trade that's going, you got to go with it. And so for me, I'm heavily into AMC, also in GameStop and just that community. And so, I want to be going with that, and I want to be covering that stuff as it's happening. And so if I do divert from the other stuff, just let me know in the comments, request them in the live streams. I'll try to probably do more live streams as a result of all this volatility. And then so, I can keep covering all those tickers because I haven't lost interest in any of them. It's just, this is like a big play that I've been in for the past few years. So my attention's kind of diverted over there as well. But yeah, I'm first going to go over big, but I will add WOOF here. And then before I add anything, oh man, I screwed up my typing in multiple ways. First going to add WOOF. But I'm going to go over big lots. And so Kevin was also asking about this. And so, yeah, Roblox Gamer, I'm glad I got that up there. And sorry if I don't acknowledge you guys right away. I'm still getting used to, the streaming and stuff. And so here, big lots, that has broken below this line that I drew, this yellow line, which I'm probably going to have to switch over to the weekly chart to take a look at this monthly, man. Yeah, let's see. Why do I think that level will be acting as support? Because there was a little top here. It was resistance there. And so I think that would then be acting as some support, just like over here. It's over here. And so I guess with that being said, kind of doing this gradient, orange, yellow, the next one down would be green. And I'm not going to do this. Let's see, off of I'll just do $2. I think $2, round number. We like our zeros. So I'll do that. Oh man, done. All right, there we go. And so we got that green line there. And so we can kind of keep an eye on that. That seems like it's kind of far away. But I mean, just like looking at the chart here, what else does that correspond with? What are the lows over here? 217, 218. Maybe there's some support there, but really I think $2. You see that was the bottom here. And then it's, like this is support here, forming this little bull flag before it goes up. And then over here, that's resistance before it takes off. So, yeah, I think that $2 and just being, a round number, I'm just going to skip to the forward button there. And yeah, so let's look at this on the daily time frame. So I don't know that there's anything significant about this close here, but I do see a trend line that I could draw. And so I just don't want this to get too cluttered with lines. And let's see, what's this one come to? That trend line, that did not act as support, or did over here a little bit, but we've broken below it. Maybe it's going to act as resistance, so I'll keep it up there. But, something that I can do, I can add like a trend line from these lows. So let's try that out. Let's see where that takes us. And so we're closing below that. That's just approximate. No, that's kind of an ugly connection. But yeah, and then over here, that would just pull it higher. So those are like, that's just kind of an approximate level that does, interestingly, seem to correspond with that yellow line. Maybe there's a trend line from these lows. Just doing it approximate. And if there's something that seems significant, that would suggest that price could be coming down at $2 a share. So I will fine tune that line. And so let's see, over here, the low is 373.1. And so I am just going to adjust this, 373.1. And the other low that is marked there is 347. So I got that. That is locked. So we can see where that would take us. I don't necessarily think it's going down to $3. Yeah, or $2. Because, yeah, that intersects with this line in the past. So that would suggest prices going down a lot more. And so, yeah, so I'm going to connect these based on the lows. So this low is 313 as highlighted there. And so I'm going to do it from, let's see, this low is 352. This low is 349. So I'll do from 352. And I'll just connect this here. 352, and I said 313. Lock that into place. And so, yeah, I mean, we're closing below that. But the reason why I wanted to do that, because I wanted to know if we had closed the previous day below a level of significance. And, you know, I don't think we did. So I think that's good. I think that what we could be seeing is a fake out break below or a bear trap. And so the reason why I say that is because, you know, even if, you know, I could, I guess, let's frame this in like a worst case scenario. So I'm going to adjust this line a tiny bit. I'm just going to move it to this day and put that at 349. So to the penny there, to the fraction of a penny. And so that's really like the lowest or the most steep that this line could be. Let's see, or yeah. Anyways, I'm just going to leave the line there because I don't think it's too important. But what we see, either way I draw that, the close on Thursday was above that downtrend. So I think that's really important because, you know, this is something I'm still working on. I learn about it from Gareth Soloway and his channel, Verified Investing. You know, I watch it. I don't pay for any of his services, but I do learn a lot just from watching his videos, listen to his talks about stocks. And so here what we see, we got to close on Thursday at $2.88, but that downtrend intersects with that day around 284. And so we closed above that, so that's fine. But then we closed below that low, so that's not so good. You know, that could be a confirmation. But since this candle did not close below this downtrend or, you know, 275, you know, this yellow line approximately, that makes me think, you know, there was this drop and, you know, we didn't close below any significant levels. So there's no beginning of a break there. We respected those levels. But then now on Friday, we did not respect those levels. We broke them. And so a confirming close, as far as I understand it, would be getting a close below Friday's low, which was $2.59. So if we see on Monday that throughout the course of the day of trading, if we see price going below 259, maybe keep an eye on it. If we get a close below 259, I think that suggests that price could be going down to that green line at $2 a share. But if we get a wick below 259 and then a close above, specifically if we get a close above 275 or this downtrend, which tomorrow would be corresponding with about 279 or 280, get a close above that, that would suggest to me that there's this bounce here. It was a fake out and that price could be going back up to fill this gap, which would be getting to the closing price that was hit on the closing price from Wednesday the 5th, which was $3.52. So there could be some nice upside there from the low, getting back up to there. That's about a 32% swing. But there's still a possibility price could go lower. And one thing that stands out to me as being a little bit encouraging, but maybe not so much because we kind of saw, you know, big volume up here and then it start to die down and price, you know, just continued to go down even though volume was down, which suggests you get a reversal. Here, you know, we have a big red volume on this gap down day and then volume's kind of tapered off. So maybe we do start to see a bounce, get some volume in there, maybe price goes up. It traded downwards on Friday during market hours of 7.64%, being more or less flat in the after hours, just up 1 penny. So I think it's going to be important to see what happens as far as Monday price action in the close. A close below 259, I think would suggest it's going to 2. A close above 275 would make me think this was a dip buying opportunity, but you can't know it was a dip buying opportunity until like after the fact. So hopefully that was helpful with BIG. I'm pretty sure I do have this on the DGen Ed list. I don't have it on the DGen Ed list. How dare I not have it on there? I'm pretty sure I've gone over it before because I've got lines on it. But yeah, and then so the next one I think is BNED that I'll probably go over. Or no, it was WOOF, sorry, and then I'll go over. No, BNED then WOOF. Okay, I got that right. Yep. And I started this stream with the Joker meme, and I started, or I included that in the last stream on AMC in the Money Calls. So we can look at that here. Roaring Kitty posted again. I'm so excited that he's back. I mean, he, for me, is like a huge inspiration. And so I'm really excited, you know, in many ways. Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen The Dark Knight, I'd recommend it. This is from the opening scene. Heath Ledger with his back turned to the camera in Chicago. You can see the L in the background. And he is getting ready to rob a bank with, you know, his Roaring Kitty mask there. Joker had a clown mask. And, you know, so they heist the bank. There's a heist. And, so I think that could mean that, you know, we'll be, you know, moving some money from one account to another. Actually, I wasn't saying that makes me think maybe he would be doing something like that, but I think it would mean that, you know, he's taking some money. And yeah, and also the Joker, this was pointed out in the previous live stream that I did, just, you know, right before this one, that, you know, the Joker is the wild card. And so I think that we could, you know, expect to see something unpredictable in the coming week, whether that's with what Roaring Kitty does or, you know, just in the market. So that's pretty cool. And so, yeah, hey, Ricardo, what's up? And the man, yeah, I saw that. And Androp says, I'm just going to add some stuff to the list, but then I will go over the ones I just mentioned, BNED and WOOF. And so Pog, is that right? I see Pogo, PogChamp. I don't know what PogChamp is. And could you check KVUE? I'll add it to the list and I will get to it. KVUE, no problem there. And then I have a few tickers to request, hoping you could cover them. Okay, so I will. Actually, I'll come back to your requests in a minute. One of those is Luminar, and that's one that I hold, and so that might be one I'd be happy to make a video on. And BMS YouTube, I will do a plug video tomorrow during market hours, but I can also give you my take now if you like. But I'm just going to get on to the ones that were requested just before. So I'm going to start with BNED. So this is Barnes & Noble. And so, yeah, I heard that it, you know, kind of took a tumble. And let's see, below this downtrend that I had drawn up there, but, you know, like it was over here, this is in the red part of that channel. It's in like the dip buying zone, you know, or the discount zone. But since it is a downtrending channel, this could reside there for a while before, you know, popping back up. And so let's see. How do I want to do this? So, I mean, potential double bottom at 15.15, but, you know, where price is currently at, I guess this is one thing. It's not huge, but the volume's up a little bit. You know, on Friday, gap down, not up massively like it was over here, but it's, man. So on Friday, I should say, it went down 46.63%, but in the after hours, it came up about 9.5. So I should switch over to the hourly time frame, getting a little bit of a bounce there. But volume just dropped off. I'm just kidding. That's the after hours pricing. So it's not going to be too volatile. But yeah, so what we see here, how I might interpret this. You know, we're not going to factor in volume here because it's including after hours and pre-market trading. But we've got, you know, down moves here and then consolidation. And that consolidation is also going to the upside. And yeah, so maybe this is a bear flag, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so, yeah, because we saw, yeah, I don't know, let's see. Yeah, because this is down move and then all of this consolidation faded and broke. And so here, let's see. This was at 5. So what was the, was that volatility? That's the hour. Do the 5 minute. Yeah, so this volatility all came in right after close. And so I guess what I would look for with this, that, maybe this is a fake out. I would look for, it's just going to be approximate, but just like seeing where all these lows are, you got like a fake out break below it there, I guess. That's 18 cents. And yeah, prices at 18.98 and after hours trading, up here. So I'd look for it to hold 18 cents. If it does, I'd look for a break above the high here, which was 21.50. I'm not going to get that lined up just right. So 21.50 marked there. And yeah, so I think that those are pretty important levels to be paying attention to. And let's see, just looking at the, the volume and just the after hours pricing, and also that RSI, and this is on the 5-minute time scale. We see higher highs formed here, and with that, RSI is more or less flat, so I mean it's not too crazy. Volume is going up as it inches up, but then it just kind of pulls back. So yeah, I mean I think that this is a tricky one. And so I might switch over to, so yeah, I mean, as far as like what happens in the pre-market and leading into price action tomorrow, I think 18 cents is important to not see. I'm looking at the 5-minute time scale here, to not see two more closes below that level, 18 cents. And really, what would be ideal is, because like what happened here is it's like, this is kind of like a slanted up like double top. Want to be seeing closes above the highs. So this is 21.50 and the high here is 20.20. So really, getting into the 20-cent range and then, holding that for more than 15 minutes, I think would be really good. But yeah, I'll just switch over to the daily again and just see what... Yeah, because with this, maybe there's a trend line based on these bottoms. I don't think you're going to like what it suggests, but just as something. So the low over here, this is in the daily time frame. The low is 99 cents. I'm going to have to adjust that a little bit, and then this is 15.15. And so 99 cents. Oops, and 15.15. All right, so with that there, you got the low here, the bounce, and support was found here, and so if it does continue lower, like if it breaks below 18, starts to close below that on a shorter time frame, so not the daily candles, I could see it coming down to test. I don't necessarily have a stutter, but when I talk a lot, I fumble. And so that could be coming down to, like 8 cents is what testing that line would suggest. But, before then you got 15.15. So, I'd say on a 5-minute, maybe 10-minute time scale, don't want to see multiple closes below 18 cents. If you see that, I think on the daily, don't want to be seeing a close below 15.15. If there is a close below 15, I think it could be coming to 8. And then maybe that's a great dip buying opportunity before the next rally up. Like we saw over here, 728%, 29%. But then, following that, a pullback here. So that's like an 87% drop. And so one thing that I am curious about with this, when did this move? That was the 17th, and it kind of topped out on the 22nd. So let's flip over to GameStop real quick. This moved on the 13th. And so I wonder, not that, I'm not putting a tinfoil hat on or anything, but, there's all of this liquidity going into GameStop, and then it pulls back. And then when GameStop starts to be low on the 17th, what happens with BNED. On the 17th, it starts to go up. So maybe if GameStop, or the meme stocks over there, if this is, a penny meme stocks, it's a little bit different. If this if GameStop rallies but then pulls back, maybe when it pulls back, maybe that's a time for BNED to rally. Because, and then if we look at this day when it hit the highest point on the 22nd, what happened with GameStop? The highest point, that was, when it was still low, and then it goes up again, hitting, the highs really on Friday and Thursday. We look at BNED, and this is, basically, it's breaking below this downtrend that I had marked, and this is not looking so good. So, if GameStop's to move violently, maybe there's a violent move in this to the upside. Maybe they're kind of opposite plays, money flowing into one, GameStop initially, out of it into BNED and back and forth maybe. Who knows? So those are my thoughts on that one. So hopefully that's helpful. And then let's see, I see some comments on it. BNED had a legit MOAS chance. Well, I think 750% or whatever it was, over 700%, I think that's a pretty good swing. And so while it may not be, getting back to these levels, like not even up to $2, what was the high? But with this, and I think this is another thing to pay attention to. Right now, since it's higher than 15.15, it's putting in a higher low, potentially. If it goes below 15.15, it's no longer putting in a higher low. Maybe that suggests some weakness, so something to consider. But just because there was one big move up doesn't mean there's not going to be another big move up. You look at AMC from 2021. I'm just going to switch this over to the monthly. Wait, do I want the monthly? I could do weekly, I guess. You take a step back. This is, the big one that sparked it all. But then following that, so this was from there, 950%. So that is a little bit bigger than what you're talking about with BNED. But then, from the lows, from buying the dip, or even just from over here, what's this move here? 600. So just because there was one big move doesn't mean there's not going to be another. It just might be a little bit more time. Because take a measurement, from the top here to the week before that big run up, that's 111 days. So that's 16 bars, 16 weeks. So that's 3 months. So maybe there's another rally for BNED, but maybe it takes. Here, look, there's from this AMC, there's a rally that, I'm doing this in, it looks negative just because I started from the top. But that's 1 to 2 months later, there was a pretty notable move following the pullback. That's got to be about 100% move. Right there, 150% move. And that was just a baby one before this big one. So I think there's definitely some hope for BNED to run again. But maybe, it takes some time. And so with that, this could be, maybe over the course of, think about time horizon as far as the swing, the next few months or maybe the next month could be a good time to dollar cost average, build a position, whether it ends up being large before the next move up or if it's still pretty small. It could be a good time to be slowly accumulating, because I definitely think that, if we're seeing it in AMC and GameStop, volatility to the upside, and other tickers like Plug, like Barnes & Noble, I think that, we could be kind of in like a squeeze, the season of squeezing, So it's over now with the dilution as far as BNED goes. So I think that's another thing to be considering, that sometimes these things just fade. And so I'm just going to type up because in my opinion, best of luck though. So, and all I have to say is Mac is always pointing out stuff that runs, and he also, I think, is pretty sensible about when to get in and then to forget it. So I don't know enough about BNED and what's going on to really comment on that, but he follows it pretty closely. So I guess, good to be cautious with this because, yeah, and maybe a few months from now, maybe there's some other news and that it's back on the squeeze radar. And then if you're just dollar cost averaging in now, opportunity cost, time lost. So, but I guess you were the one that requested it, so I guess I don't feel too bad. And so BNED had the most unique squeeze I've seen in years, and it pumped shorts, didn't cover, but they bought into the pump and sold off shares. And actually, and like with this being like a penny stock, with it squeezing like that, yeah, I don't really know how that works as well as far as the options chain goes, because I feel like when you get into stuff that's trading below $1, there just aren't that many options. So this is just for the weekly contracts. If I go over to the monthly, there's some more contracts, but they're in 50-cent increments. And so it's just any option call that you get into at this price, it's out of the money. So it's gambling versus in the money, which I think is just a little bit more of a way to kind of average into a position. And that's what I've been trying to do with in the money calls. I think they're really neat. And so that's what I do. Sell half on the way up and let half ride. Yeah, and I think that one of the things that, and I feel like it's because of like accounting reasons and stuff, what a lot of people like to do is they say, this is my price, I'm going to buy everything there. But really it's like, there's this price, but maybe it goes lower, maybe it goes lower than that. Average in on that, and then do the same thing when exiting. That if it rallies up 100% or more, take half off the table. Then you've made money, or at least are not risking any of your own money. You still got some in the position though, and you can let it ride. So I think that's a really good way to trade, averaging in and averaging out. And I think with averaging out, I think it's good to set it at specific amounts, whether it's a quarter or half a position, because if you start doing it just like, I'll trim a few shares, then you end up, FOMOing back in those shares later. So I think that it's good to, be disciplined about it and, follow the thesis that you have, the plan that you've got. Teamwork, but those are meme stocks. If you make 20% a day, that's incredible. Yeah, for sure. I feel like whenever I see like, you look at like the indexes and stuff, they go up a few percent. That's a big deal. But you get a trade that's 10% in a day, you stack those up, you're winning. And, and with that, if you get a 10% loss, then you can pull the plug and then, or 5%, whatever the stop loss would be, and then, move on to the next one. And then you might get, ideally you get, more of those 10% or 20%, 100%, who knows, swings, then you get the losses. You get 100% loss, you're out of the game. And so, yeah, good to trim, good to take those profits and then move on to the next one. In all honesty, I go cross-eyed thinking about all the stocks that there are to go over. There's always a play. And so let's find the next meme. Here, I'll show you the next meme. This is the next meme. It came out an hour ago. And so, yeah, I'm gonna get back up to go over WOOF because, ooh, wow. Did I cover this? This is weird. When did I cover this? Did I cover it? This is on the daily chart because I drew that line right to the top and it's pulled back to the 236. This is eerie. I don't know when I drew this. I always find it weird when it's like I haven't looked at a chart in a week, but then there's a line like a couple days ago. Yeah, because I've been working the past couple of days. The market was closed. So that was Wednesday. I guess I did some streams and this was probably requested. Man. But yeah. So this, there's a close. So Friday, there's a gap down, close below the 236, which is $3.68. So just a few pennies below it and above it actually in the after hours trading. So not that big of a deal. But if the close tomorrow is lower than Friday's low, which was 362, tomorrow's close, not if it wicks lower, but if it closes lower than 362, I would think then this is then at least going to the next level down, 382, which is at right around $3.25. But let's see, let's look back in time. What are some, levels that kind of make sense as maybe potentially finding some support? And so the 382 kind of corresponds with the double bottom over here and the double top, or not the double top, the top over here. So I could see the 382 potentially acting as support. 50%, I don't think it's too notable, but really getting down to the 618. Let's pull up the volume profile. 50% actually, yeah. I mean, that's where you got the most volume traded. I think probably because of this dip, there's a lot of trading going on there. Like if I scoot that over, it's more pronounced around the 618. So yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. And I feel like I have a hard time with all of these lines, the Fibonacci, all average in at these specific levels. But I think a good way to trade is to say, all right, it's at the 236, forget about it. I'm not going to buy it at this price because I think it's going lower. It looks like it broke. Unless we don't get any closes below 362, it looks like it bounces, then it could be respecting that. But I feel like more likely it's going to continue down to at least the next level. And so what I would do, for me personally, if I was looking to get into a WOOF position, I would say I'm not looking at this until it gets to the 50% level. Multiple reasons. Looking at it on this time frame, it does look like, that's the volume shelf there. That's also the volume point of control. We take a step back. We got some more price action going on. The point of control is the 618, not the 50%. I think I was saying the 6. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. So we got this volume shelf up here starting to pick up around 50%. And so I could see it start to settling around 50%. But for me, if I was like, I have to establish a position in WOOF, I would say, okay, but I'm not going to start building that until it gets to the 50% retracement. And so, from the top here, you're saving yourself a loss of 34% there just by waiting. And then you say, okay, 50%, I'll start a quarter of position there. And then the 618, that might be the next one to add another quarter. And then maybe that green line will change. And so maybe the 786 would be the next level to maybe add another quarter and then kind of evaluate. Does one want to add the final quarter at that level if it's respecting it, or does it look like it might be breaking lower? So I would say this is going to at least 325. I imagine more likely $2. I feel like these levels all sound familiar because it's like I was rounding to about $3, $2.50, and $2. So yeah, I guess whatever I said in that video, my stance is probably not changing. But as far as what we saw on Friday, this could be a fake out break and we get a close above the 236, which is 362. But I feel like more than likely, if we see that, it's just going to be a bearish consolidation following this down move, and it's going to break lower. So I think it's definitely going lower, or at least that's how I would play it, but I'm not playing it. And so I have to catch up on these comments, and it's been about 45 minutes. And so, what was Roaring Kitty's post? So that was over here. I imagine if you're not, shame on you, you should know what this is from. This is from The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's movie, with Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker, who's pictured here with his back turned to the camera. This is the beginning of the movie, and this is right before a bank heist. He's got his back turned to the camera so you can't see who he is, but he puts on a clown mask. And whereas here, Roaring Kitty has so beautifully, changed that to be a cat mask. And so I think that there could be a number of meanings to this. I think the one that stands out the most to me, which was pointed out during the previous live stream, is that the Joker is the wild card. And so I think that could mean, expect volatility, expect something unpredictable to happen, whether that's in the markets or with what Roaring Kitty's going to do with his position, whether that's maybe exercise some calls, maybe add, I don't know. Maybe he's going to be there's going to be a heist of some sort. So yeah, I mean, I think that this is a bullish meme for the week. And I'm just going to check GameStop's price in the overnight trading, and it is at 31, right around 31.15. It was up to about 32.20, 32.50. And I should note, what was the let's see, what was the closing price on GameStop? So I'll just pull that up really quick over here. The closing price, 28.22. And so I think that, like, because the overnight trading is facilitated by Robinhood, I'm a little bit sketched out by it, in all honesty. And so I think it can be a way for there to be, sure, it gives retail traders easier or more access to trading, but it also gives the big institutes, and with there being low volume traded, whether that's overnight, pre-market, or after hours, with a little bit of money, they can move it a lot. And so this could be a way, maybe a bull trap, in that we do see some dips. And so, like I had mentioned this earlier, so this is on the daily chart with GameStop, that start of last week, we started high because there was this overnight trading, but then there was a sell-off over the course of the day. And let's see, the price, went up relative to the previous Friday's close, and with that gap up. So while it's a big red candle, price went up 21%. And so whatever we see the opening price at, keep an eye on. Let's actually look at this a little bit more closely. I'll do the maybe 10-minute time scale, and let's pay attention to the volume when the market opened on that day. And so that is going to be so this is the third. Yep. So this is, there's that overnight trading. There's that pre-market trading. We get this massive gap up. Things are looking pretty good. But then what happened right as the market opened? Big sell-off, large volume in that first 10 minutes. And so with that being said, I mean, that was all in the first. This is a great lesson right here. The first candle of the trading day, the first 10 minutes of it, we saw a sell-off of 16.5%. And so I think it's good to, wait 15 minutes into the market open, see, is it going to continue going up, or is there a pullback? If there's a pullback, maybe add a little bit. If it continues going higher, maybe wait to see if there's a pullback after that. But, good to not chase. But this, could have added a little bit there and say, oh, it's settling down here, I'll add a little bit more down there. So, I'm interested to see what price it opens at, because I think that overnight, after hours pre-market trading can be an easy way to fake out a lot of retail. So be cautious with it. If it's gapping up here, if one is to add after this happens, FOMO, whatever, do it small in case there's a pullback. And I feel like, following the first 15 minutes of trading, you'll get a sense of, it's pulling back, or it's going higher, I'm going to miss the boat, I'll add a little bit. But there are always going to be pullbacks. It's going to ebb and flow higher or lower. And if it doesn't do that, it's perhaps not sustainable. And so, keep that in mind. Treke is saying, I don't trust Robinhood. I don't either. I have positions in Robinhood, really just like leftover from 2021. I want to close them, but I also don't want to sell if I think price is going higher. So I'm going to probably hold those for a little while. But kind of like the way that I manage trimming that is by selling a covered call. If price will go up a bunch, I might do that. With GameStop, you could do, I would have to do it with AMC because I don't have enough to do covered calls with GameStop. But it's crazy looking for June 14th. Strikes going up to $128. So, if there's a rally, if GameStop goes up to 50, maybe $80 during the week, and there are 100 shares, you could sell a covered call. This is, potentially selling your shares, but that would be at a strike of $128. You could get for selling that, $112. And, if it closes above 128 bucks, you got to sell at 128 bucks, but now you collect on that premium. And so like that's something that I might do with AMC if there are big moves up, but the premium's not going to be as much because the share price isn't as high. But yeah, covered calls are pretty risky, so I would only do them if you're like pretty familiar with them. And so VIGL I will add. I do got some others that I need to catch up on though. VIGL, I will add them. And so like I've gone over WOOF, so I'm going to delete that. And I've gone over BNED. I'm going to delete that as well as BIG. So a little more manageable, but I'm going to try to go through these coming from the top of the chat. And I'm just going to catch up on the comments. And so, William, yeah, I got BNED. So I hope that what I was saying was useful for you. And let's see. Okay, yeah. So Lakshay, I see that you've got a number requested on there. So I might try to go over one of those and then I'll go over somebody else's and then I'll come back. But I'll probably try to look at the Luminar chart tomorrow and I could do a video on that. I'm trying to catch up on videos and stuff and that's one I like to do. And so I guess real quick I can just go over that and then I'll promise you a video tomorrow at some point. So looking at the Luminar chart here, yeah, I mean, what I see is that it's potentially, I mean, it looks like it's broken below the 236 from this retracement and that purple downtrend. And so what I would like to see tomorrow is basically a close above Friday's high, which was $1.46 approximately. And so I'd say getting up above this trend line, really closing above $1.50, I think that would be really good that it's reclaimed that level. But if it can't do that, I could potentially see price coming back down to 125 or 121. And if we do see a price lower than 121, I think that suggests it's continuing lower. So I'm just gonna put it on my notepad that the videos I need to do for tomorrow are plug Luminar and the Bitcoin miners. And I'll probably do the Bitcoin miners after market closes, but I could do plug and Luminar during market hours. And the reason for that is because it's just one ticker. If I record a video over the course of less than 10 minutes, price isn't going to change that much. But if I do a multi-ticker video, it takes me half an hour to record. Prices could be very different from the beginning to the end of that video. So that's my justification for that. But yeah, and so Sandy Smith, what's up? Good evening. Yeah, wanted to say good morning. And plug BMS YouTube. So I'll pull up plug real quick, but I am going to do a video on them tomorrow. So I'll just go over it real quick. I'm not going to spend more than a minute on this. So this here, I mean, close below $3. I was chatting with somebody on Twitter who's very, very adamant about there being a dip. And, and like I was saying, I have a call at this $3 strike that expires in a couple weeks. It might expire worthless. And I want to exercise that call. But if price is below $3 a share, I'm not going to exercise the call. I'll just buy shares below $3 a share. And so what I see with this is, like these levels right around 280, we might be testing those. And yeah, I mean, this gap's filled, so I think that's good. I think that this could be, I feel like it could be a fake out. I feel like what happens with the price tomorrow could be telling. Not necessarily a fake out, but I think that this fade, I think that there's going to be another leg up. I mean, we've broken out of, these multiple patterns that suggest it's going up. And I mean, for this wedge, sure, I think this is justifiable move. But for the breakout of this thing, no, I mean, we're going to see months, if not years, of upside, I think. So like a year from now, I think $3 a share is going to be cheap. So I wouldn't sweat it if you're long term. If you're short term, I'll go over some levels in the video tomorrow, maybe downside opportunities. And yeah, I got that on my little notepad. So I'll definitely do a video. Probably my first video tomorrow will be on plug. And how do you know he's getting ready to rob a bank from that picture? Oh, so the Roaring Kitty meme. So that's what happened in the movie. Yeah, if you guys have not seen The Dark Knight, it's an incredible movie. Heath Ledger won an Oscar for this. Just like I could not have seen the performance that he did coming. I just thought, Jack Nicholson's Joker, and he really created a new character with his performance. This is Heath Ledger playing the Joker with his back towards the camera, and he's got a clown mask in his hand, which Roaring Kitty edited to be a Roaring Kitty mask. Or it's a kitty mask. It's not roaring. Maybe there's something there. And so with that being said, this is right before they rob a bank. There's a heist, and that's why they put on the masks for robbing the bank. And I think the thing that really stands out about it, though, is that the Joker is the wild card. And so I think that we should be expecting the unexpected next week, whether that's Roaring Kitty doing something unexpected or something happening with the price, or maybe that's a warning to Andrew Left. So who knows? And so BNED had a legit most. Yeah, so I think I went over that. Shorts were insanely over leveraged. No whales hopped in though. Yeah. I feel like probably the reason for that is because it's such a penny stock, legit. I did go over it though, so I'm not going to pull it back up. And then BNED dilution has started though. Great long-term buy at one. I don't know if you meant to do 0 or 1 cent or what, but reverse split is coming. BNED was over after it lost 57. So I'll just pull that up real quick, but I'm not going to spend much time on it. BNED. Let's see, 57, just to get an idea what was going on. So 57. Yeah, well, this big red candle, 40% there for sure. Yeah, all of this. Because that's a big move up, but then you get all this downside and consolidation. So yeah, a rough one. And how long is this stream for? Pretty much until I collapse or until I stop getting requests. But I was thinking, it's been about an hour. I might finish this and then grab another one, and then I'll try to finish the other one more aggressively, and then I'll continue going. So I'm just going to catch up in the comments. I might refill that, and then I'll be right back. So just give me a second to catch up on the chat. And so I think the BNED stuff. Ariana, what's up? We need to find more bottom plays before the pumps. I think that what we're seeing right now, I think that they're dips before secondary rips. Maybe not, from what I understand, not BNED too risky. But what we're seeing with AMC, GameStop, I think Plug Power fits into that category. But maybe there's a lag to it. Is kind of how I feel, or at least that's what I'm hoping, because I have a $3 strike call expiring in a couple weeks. That might be out of the money, and so that's with Plug. But yeah, looking for bottoms, I think, is always really good. There might have been some videos that I put out recently. I'm not really sure. And let's see. Stop loss, a few percent below support. So I'm not experienced with stop losses. That's something I need to get better at. Mac Attack says, place the stop loss a few percent below support in case you get a wick below that support, is my understanding. You want to have it lower than support, so you got that buffer in case that's a dip buy, and so you're not selling the dip. And then Andy called BNED at 40 cents, and I doubled my money. Congrats. I'm glad, whatever I did on the channel helped you. I'll pull it up really quick. Yeah, because most of the stuff I go over, I am not in. Really, like the big one that I'm in is AMC right now. But yeah, so 40 cents right around here. Yeah, so congrats to you. And let's see. And then teamwork. I already saw this. Laura, what's up? Teamwork with those are meme stocks. Yeah, if you make 20% in a day, that's incredible. Yeah, so stacking stacking percentage gains. That's how we win. By wanting the 100% move, that's risky. I mean, that's kind of, what I'm thinking, hundreds of percent move with AMC. But, yeah, it's tricky. And, it's everybody's risk tolerance and stuff. If you do, share it with us, the meme stock. Oh, yeah. Ricardo says, yeah, Bill is saying, let's find the next meme stock. So, yeah, and I will, let's see, I'll pull it up on my phone. If you guys want, I created a Discord. I'm not super active on it, but I do try to check it every day. I'm going to share the link. If you guys want to get in on that, I've created a few channels on it. One's just general, then another one's Roaring Ed, so that would be like GameStop and AMC specific. Then I got Penny's jokes, so like play on, penny, for penny stocks. Then also options, deep and long for like, deep value, long term. And then, can put other channels there. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want to join, let's see. I will post the link in the chat here, and you guys can join the Discord. And let's see. And share ideas with each other. You can also, I don't know how you guys. That's probably a good way for all you randos to connect and stuff. And so let's see. The tweet means Joker's roaring kitty. So that's he's going to save all the people jumping off the roofs. Well, I mean, but in the movie though, he kills all the people who he robs the bank with. So, did the Joker's roaring kitty post instantly after showing that? What the hell? Did the Joker's roaring kitty just post instantly after showing? So let's see. I just want to catch up to these. Oh, Nameless. Yes. I feel like I have to prioritize Nameless's requests because I've kind of flaked a little bit. And so I might go over that because Nameless is an OG. He's been around for a little while. And so, yeah, I'll just pull those up in the request. And so I'll go over them once I catch up on the comments, and then I'll go over them, and then I'll refill my beer. So, and so somebody's asking, let's see. I've just got to, let's see. So BMS YouTube, I included the link to the Discord. So any of you who want to join, it's free to join. And to be honest, I'm pretty new to Discord, but there are a number of guys there who are really sharp with it, and they have a lot of really good ideas. So great discussions going on. And so I will pull up Hycroft, HYMC, and VIGL. And so let's see. So Ricardo, you're requesting Hycroft. I've noticed it dropped a bunch. And so, yeah, maybe there's dip buying territory. And so let's say, and so I just want to address this comment from PMG. Sell covered calls and buy put options to lock in and exit. So I'm not that familiar with puts or buying puts. Buying puts would be bearish, and selling a call or selling covered calls is bearish. And so I feel like it's nice to do that when it's like, you sell a covered call with a strike that's way above the current price, way above your average. If it closes above that, that forces an exit at that price. So if you want a diamond hand that's not so good, but that could be a nice way to raise some money through getting that premium, but then it does force an exit, and so that could be a nice way to trim, take some emotion out of it. But everybody's got to do their own thing. I know the community, especially around AMC and GameStop, is all about diamond handing, and for me, I don't want to settle for a lower price. I think it's going a lot higher, so I've kind of stepped back because I've screwed up with covered calls in the past, and I don't want to do that again. So I've dialed back my selling of covered calls. People think he's walking away again with the bag. I think that Roaring Kitty is going to be here for months, if not into the next year. So Yeah, I don't know necessarily that he wants to destroy short. I don't necessarily think he wants to destroy retail, but I think that he's clearly very invested in the company and believes in it. And so, I mean, for me, I have a smaller position in GameStop than AMC. And so, like for me, the shares that I have, I want to build that position more. Whereas AMC, I like the position that I had initially intended on holding, it's way larger now. So, I feel like I can like manage that a little more accordingly. Whereas with like GameStop, it's like I want to be more invested in that. I still want to be more invested in AMC, but also want to take advantage of the volatility and stuff. And so, almost caught up on the comments. American Truther saying, agree, but the stock at support, and when it hits, there will be a drop news. He will probably be silent for a week now. I don't know. I mean, I think that he's loving it, so we'll have to see. Citadel bought a ton of FFIE, then sold calls and sent bots out. Yeah, so I know that's one that's been pretty volatile. And so rather than catching up on these comments, I am, because PMG's, let's see, talking about covered calls. So I'm going to go over SOXS and SPXU. Sorry, Nameless, to keep you waiting. I feel like I always do that. But yeah, so SOXS, I feel like I should probably start with, I'm just going to switch over to the indexes to go over that. So I saw a post that, let's see, where are the indexes? Okay, over here. So I'm going to start with going over the SPX. This is the one I like to look at. So I see this trend line. We kissed it, man, on Friday. And so I saw this post on, I think it was MSNBC or something, or whatever, one of those, that was like I liked it on Twitter and I commented on it. So what I might do is go to my, this is the Roaring Kitty meme if you guys didn't see it. And so I'm just going to go over to my profile and I'm going to go to my replies. And this guy, he's sad. Yeah, he said it goes to 80, so I lose money. And so, yeah, let's take it to 160. And this is from, I think the Two Towers. Or is that the Two Towers. And so one thing that I mentioned, oh yeah, so I said both to this. And so Unusual Whales was saying, who do you agree with here, Tom Lee or Sitfell? And so Tom Lee is saying the S&P 500 will rise 4% to a record 5,500 by the end of this month. But then somebody else says, and this is posted like within hours of each other, that the S&P 500 to correct by 10% by the end of September. So that's a longer time frame. So get defensive. And so what I think will happen, I think they're both going to be right. I think that we might see this going a little bit higher. This is an uptrending level of resistance with the SPX. And so we could be seeing that going higher. Going to, let's see, man, I think that's a pretty crazy move though, from current price getting up to 5,500. That's almost a 3% move to the upside. And that's by the end of the month. So that would be, let's extend this to the end of the month. I'll do it to July. So it gives a little bit of wiggle room and then pull that down. So it's right about there, just right around there. That would be a break above this uptrend. Have we ever seen price above that? Yes, we have. But, so yeah, I mean, we could see a break above that. So, I mean, I wouldn't take that off the table. I think it's quite possible, but I don't think it would be a long-lived. And so like what he's saying, that's a 4% move. And so I have that at about 3%. So wait, when was this posted? This was on June 4th. So June 4th, let's take that from, yeah, so that's about a 4% move. Okay, so the math is right there. But then we got 10% down by the end of September. And so those are both posted on the same day. I'm wondering where 10% is going to take us from here. So assuming the same day, 10%. I was thinking might be to this blue line, but maybe it goes lower. Maybe, wow, it's even lower than this previous all-time high. And so that's by the end of September. So let's just think about that with this chart. Oh man, I gotta adjust this here. The end of September. I'm getting a little... okay, so I'm just going to take it to the end of October. So 10% down, that's right about to there. What's significant about that level? That's 4,700, something around there. I think that we'd probably find support before then. I think I could see it being more like from up here down 10%. And then maybe finding support here. But yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, for me, I have very small short positions, and I'm just like, I haven't been too aggressive lately because I've really been like focused on AMC. But as far as shorting it goes, I mean, this is tough because I mean, it's like putting in, this is, yeah, I mean, I think that this is a little much, getting up to 5,500. But, you know, I could be wrong. So I think it's good to average in. And of course, you know, let's say, you know, this is above fair value, you know, or whatever that would be. This is, you know, kind of the upper range of that. Let's say we could break above that. And then that would be a great time, you know, if price is at 5,500 by the end of the month. I think that's a great time to probably go heavier on the shorts. But right now, I think it's still like, I'm at least being fairly passive in the way that I dollar cost average. So yeah, I mean, but I think that I think that this trend line is one that's going to be important to pay attention to. So flipping over to the SPXU, because I think that's what you were, thanks, Nameless. Nameless is saying that I'll start doing this full-time soon. Dude, you know what's crazy? That, so the AMC videos that I've been posting lately, those have been my best performers. And then I do the one on Roaring Kitty, the possibility of him exercising the, his calls. That's like blown my mind, the amount of attention that video has gotten. So yeah, I mean, I hope that I can do this full-time. My, I guess, hope is that, you know, I get to a point this year where if I quit my job and did this full time, I'd make enough to get by doing it full time, but then I wouldn't have excess money to trade. And so my hope is that by the end of this year, or at the end of this year, I can quit my job or put in, you know, a couple months notice or something, and then quit it and doing this full time. Yeah, so that would be super cool. And streams are gaining traction. Yeah, 44 people here I see. It's usually like 10 to 20. So thanks everybody for joining. And yeah, it's all because of your guys' support. But I'm gonna let's see, keep going. Yeah, so I've been doing this for an hour and 15 minutes. I'll keep going with it, but I'm gonna need to refill my beer. I just want to go over SPXU. I mean, yeah, I mean my thought process on this is, I'd say for me, what I would do, like I'm focusing mostly on AMC right now, but what I would do if I had money on the side, maybe I'd add a little bit where it's at, but I just place an order at $30 and I'd wait for that to fill, and then I'd reevaluate. I think $30 will fill. That's coming down to right here. And let's see, maybe we draw a trend line. Most of my analysis with this has really just been like on the fib, but we're kind of at support though. Look at that. So yeah, I mean, I'm actually just going to delete this retracement because a little clutter, but yeah, look at that. That's pretty nice. So, I mean, I wonder, are we going to break that or are we going to hold it? So that's a pretty easy line to draw. You know, I just threw it up there. And yeah, and one thing too, like, is there an inverse cup and handle? Because that's kind of what this looks like, a cup here, handle, and then testing that level. Maybe we get a break. What do we see in the chart? We see lower highs in the RSI, so that's no bearish divergence. We actually see lower lows here in this short time frame, but higher lows in the RSI. So maybe it's finding a bottom. Maybe we don't see 30. So, I mean, I'm prepared for it to go lower, but I could see this as at least a short-term bottom, because if this does bounce and maybe there's a rally in the indexes, in the markets, this could retest the line and then it'd be going lower and then it'd be coming down to, actually it'd take a while before it could get to 30. That would be in like September. And that would correspond with, the S&P 500 going down 10%. And so you wouldn't see the SPXU. This is 3x leverage short the S&P 500. So I don't think you'd be seeing that. But yeah, I mean, I keep an eye on 30, but this might be, it's like here, it's like, was this the dip to buy? Yes, but you place an order at the low and then later it gets filled and you take that and you take it for, let's see what kind of swing this was from, approximately there up to the top. 8% swing, not that bad. But this is not the bottom for it long term. We'll eventually see that. And, since I just drew that trend line there, I can draw another trend line from the tops here. And, just being approximate, maybe we're getting to break out of something. Yeah, so by the end of the month, I think we're either breaking down or breaking out, because that's the 20th right there. And so I'll look over at the SOXS. This is like semiconductors, and with that I can also do what was requested, SMCI. And I'll actually start with that because this is a semiconductor company. It does look like it's fading. It looks like it's struggling to hold the, let's see, that's the 382. And so that goes back to this low. Maybe I could have drawn it from this low, or probably better maybe from here. I don't know, because of all that consolidation kind of throws that move off a little bit, like they're two separate things. And so maybe I should do that. I'm just going to do it rough here from like this dip right before the rip. Are we holding a level? Yeah, potentially right around there. So this could be holding that level, and maybe there's going to be a bounce. But, the one that I really like, as far as the semiconductors, the one that I really chart, Nvidia. This is coming to a top soon. This can't keep going higher. What did it close the week at? 2.97 trillion. Yeah, and like Thursday, I'm pretty sure, unless I forget when I wasn't streaming Friday. Maybe I was. I don't know. But Nvidia, like, it hasn't gotten any closes. Maybe it got a close here above 3 trillion market cap, but it's like that 3 trillion level is going to be resistance. Just psychologically, it's like, oh my God, like retail is going to be FOMOing. Oh my God, I bought a $3 trillion company. It's going to go to 4 trillion next. And it's like, no, it's not. And so, yeah, this is going to be topping. And so we see here, big wick up to 1255.87. And so, I mean, yeah, but it just keeps going up. And so maybe levels to be paying attention to, like who cares about fibs at this point? Let's just look at these trend lines. So here's one that we could be pulling back to, maybe coming down to like 1100. Or maybe, yeah, I mean, because then you got this that could be acting as support, or maybe there's something else, like we got trend line support here from these points, and we're going to test that. And I gotta just delete this. Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, like, how do you do that? I'm gonna switch the y-axis to be log. I just recently started doing this. Yeah, okay, so here, what do we got? I'm going to do a trend line from like the high here, just being approximate. This is on the weekly. And then to the high over here. And what do we get? This is cool. I'm going to do this, not precisely. I'm going to do this to the penny because I'm weird like that. And so what's the high on this date? That's 192.54. 192.54. And sorry, I can't catch up with all the chat, which is like not that much. But I will look in a minute, and you guys can at least chat there, so that's good. Let's see, 970 is that high. So let's look at that. 970. 74. All right, and I'm going to lock that in place. And, I'm looking at this blind. Look, that intersected with that top. Pretty crazy. And to be honest, I might have gotten the idea to do this from Gareth Soloway, so I can't take full credit for it. But, yeah, I mean, maybe that's something. That's like the same kind of trend line I was drawn from here. Wait. Oh, yeah. Actually, no. Was it from here on the linear? Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think semiconductors are going to be turning around. I think maybe Nvidia, I mean, this is an uptrending level, so maybe it can go higher. But like that line I just drew, this is coming to a point, to a head from this line here. Yeah, I mean, but with this, how much longer could this go for? This point here is in the end of July. I think this could keep going. I think that this could keep inching its way up, but maybe we see a pullback. Let's see. And so this retracement is going to be linear. So it's probably not the best to do on the log scale, but a pullback to the 236 here is coming back to that, that uptrend. So maybe we see a pullback to that. And then it goes even higher, like up to 1,300. And then maybe, I mean, it could get as high as 1450 or something. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, SMCI, look at this. I don't know if, yeah, it's still logarithmic. I'm going to switch that over to linear and see. Maybe I'll switch it over to log just so but we're not looking for further upside with this. We're looking for a bottom. And yeah, so I don't know how helpful that is because we're like looking at it on a smaller time frame really to find that bottom. So getting the whole picture in there with the log scale isn't necessarily that useful. But yeah, I mean, I guess what I would look for is if it does dip lower, 711, 712 should be acting as support. And if it closes below that, I mean, because here, like the lowest close that we've seen on this like pullback was hit on April 19th. That was at $710 and the close, $713.65. And so with that being said, that's when you don't want to see a close below. So you see a close below, well, actually not necessarily, I mean, because that's a close, it's a lower close, but you don't want to see closes lower than the lows. And that's really when it starts to break down. And so that'd be like 671. That was the low hit on April 22nd. But I mean, look at this pattern. I mean, this is maybe not the best. Maybe I want to do this on the 4-hour time frame. I mean, do you see a pattern there? Do you see a pattern here? 1-hour time frame. Let's look at that. I mean, what I see is potentially a left shoulder here, a head, and then a right shoulder here. So this looks like a bearish pattern. And so I say if it comes down to like 740, it's going lower, and the measured move from that. So measured move, you take it from the high of the head down to the neckline. I'm just going to draw, well, I'll draw a trend line just so I get something going on here. So trend line, so like, just going to draw it from, let's see, like this level here over to here, and then just kind of connect that. And I could just then move this over here. And so that gets, the shoulder there, bounce, head, bounce, right shoulder. And so that gives us an idea of where price could come down to if there is a measured move. So that's going from the top of the head down to that neckline, and then moving that to wherever the break would be. So, let's say days in the future. And so that would then put price, I'm going to switch over to the daily time frame. That would put price coming down. Look at that. Pretty cool how it's pulled back to the 618. That's around $500 a share. 550, so maybe 501. That to me looks like a head and shoulders pattern. And it doesn't look strong. It looks like it's fading. That there's a break of this level. Maybe I drew this retracement wrong, or maybe there are other retracements I could have drawn better. But there's a bounce, and it just doesn't look that strong. Because like up here, you see all this like massive volume being traded oh, price is going to the moon, all of this stuff. But then you like see price pulling back as volume's fading. And so, that's good in that sense. Because when price comes down with volume going up, that means it's just going to continue. So it's good, but it seems like there's just like less interest in it. And then prices going up here, volume's not increasing that much. And when price was up at these levels before, look at how much volume there was. Now there's just not that much volume. It seems like there's not as much interest. And maybe all of the interest that's in like semiconductors has just like shifted over to Nvidia. Because look at their chart. They just can't be stopped. So yeah, I think that SMCI is going lower. So hopefully that's helpful. And then I will go over, with that being said, thinking that that one's going lower. SOXS, I think maybe there's a double bottom here, but I do think that like if it's like a short-term swing, I think that this could be a bottom and that there's a bounce. But if it's to be like longer, like building a position over time, I think that that there will be lower lows. So be cautious with that. But yeah, so hopefully that was helpful with those. I'm going to switch back to the requests, and then I'm going to delete those. So hopefully that was helpful. Delete that, delete that. And so I'm going to give you guys an option. I'm either going to slowly finish this beer and continue with the stream, and probably not take any more quests. I've seen a lot of comments, so it's tough to keep up, but hopefully it was just like you guys exchanging. Or I'm going to finish this, grab another beer, and I'll keep going until like my eyes start closing. So if you want me to grab another one of these, I'll go for at least another half an hour. So let me know in the chat. I'll finish this. I'm going to throw up an ad. I'll be right back, and then I'll stream more. So be right back. 1 second. All right, I'm back. I'm going to try to drink this one faster than I drank the other one, but I'll stay here until I finish it or until you guys, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Cheers, everybody. For me, it's my Friday. I just finished 2 12-hour shifts in about 6 hours on Friday, so I'm glad to be done. What's up? Cheers. Yeah. Ape Father, how's it going? All right. And so, yeah, I am going to get back. I don't remember putting KZR on here, so I don't know what that one is. But I know that DNA was requested, so I'll go over that. I might just go down the list, and then I'll try to catch up with the chat. Hey, Bo, cheers to you. Hey, the Joker's Roaring Kitty, thank you. Yeah, and I'm probably like, just because things are starting to get pretty crazy, I might do some more live streams during market hours or around closes. And actually, my work schedule is a little screwy a couple weeks from now. I'm usually going to be working not this Friday, but the Friday after, the 21st. But because the schedule got mixed up a little bit, I'm actually not working on the 21st, so I might stream the whole day. That would be pretty fun. I'll get a pizza or something, get some more of these. Or maybe I'll start with coffee and then switch to these. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited for the 21st to see what happens there. I think it's either going to go way high up after or up before and maybe down. I don't know. GameStop, AMC, whatever. So yeah, I'll go over DNA. It looks like I've gone over it before, and it looks like, and I think this is one thing that I've been realizing through like charting. Let's see. I just want to it's like when doing Fibonacci retracements, you can draw something like this, but you have to first see a bottom signal. And so like I drew this, there wasn't a bottom signal. It was just like hoping that was the bottom. Like hypothetically, that's the bottom. So that's not really useful there. And so with this has been beaten down a lot. 51 cents. And so what I could do, yeah, this is cool. Look at that head and shoulders pattern, and it just came down. And so that's what could be happening with SMCI. So be careful with that one, unless you want to short it or, yeah. Mary Shell, what are you talking about as far as go up 20%? Are you talking about GameStop? Well, yeah, let's all check over what it is in Robinhood. Let's see, $31. Yeah, so I mean, I think that like for me, because as far as GameStop, I look forward to add shares. I'm not going to do options with GameStop. But I plan on doing more options and shares with the AMC. And so I'm thinking that there will probably be some dip buying opportunities, and the way that I think about that. So I guess I would just talk about the way that I like to think about like the psychology of the markets and stuff is that, there's all of this like hype around these things. But if, the price is suppressed, then there starts to be infighting amongst retail. We start like attacking each other. It's like, AMC versus GameStop, or people being, just losing money or having bought the top and it not running and them just being pissed off, infighting. It's not good for us, but it's good for those who are trying to short it. And so I think that the longer price is suppressed, it's just like more like powder keg, just building more and more pressure and like wildfire. And so I think that if it is suppressed, I think that's a total gift. So I think it's an opportunity. I think any pullbacks that we see, it being suppressed to around $31, I think that's great. It could pull back below 30. I think that's great. Robinhood refusing to pay GameStop over 20% of $27. Oh, because it's... Yeah, so I saw that the thing it says about the 20% thing. But yeah, it's only up 10%. But is that... Here, I'm just going to do... It only says it's up like 10%. So yeah, I don't understand how it works. But yeah, I'm gonna go over this chart. I'll get too distracted with the chat, or should I just catch up on the chat? I saw a bunch of stuff in the chart, so I might not necessarily respond to all of what you guys have written, but I'll just kind of skim it real quick. And so let's see. Okay, yeah, so I see PMG example, sell an out-of-the-money call, covered call, take premium and buy a put option to sell that is below the current price. Yeah, so that's like if the stock moons, your gain is capped at covered call. Yes, 100%. And so I don't necessarily know how it works with puts because, it's like that you would buy it if it then goes below that price. I'm just like, it's tough for me to be bearish. Like I'm like I forget the phrase, but like I'm like a inherently positive, inherently optimistic. So it's like tough for me to be a bear. But sometimes it's very clear in charts. And so, yeah, like with the SoFi before the earnings, that video, everybody hated me, but I was spot on. And so I am going to add Biora here. I haven't done a video on them for a while. I don't really get too many views, but that's one that I still hold. I haven't been adding to it, but I'm just holding. And I sell covered calls on that with strikes of $2 to $2.50. Make $5 every time I do it. Not much, but it's something. I could buy a share of AMC with it. And so if the stock tanks, you have an exit at the price of the put strike. Yeah, so, an exit, okay. Yeah, so I mean, for me, I wouldn't want to... so I need to learn more about that, but for me, what I plan on doing with options this week is buying a lot, probably 5 contracts at most, majority in the money for AMC expiring June 21st or July 19th. And maybe a couple out of money calls as well, because they're cheaper and because I think there's going to be some volatility, and also maybe some that are, yeah, so the out of money ones, some will be a strike of 10. I went over that in the AMC in the money calls video that I did earlier, the stream that I did. So I checked that out if you're interested. Biora Therapeutics got it on there. And Nameless, I appreciate it. I appreciate you always coming to these. It's always great to see your name, and I like it so much that your name shows up as a pink N. I always know it's you. And so let's see, everything between strikes you can hold. Yeah. And so if you cover the tickers, I ask, I will always watch. Julie, what do you want me to cover? I always try to, but like the channel's getting to the point, like it used to be me and just like a couple people, but now it's, I can't keep up with all the requests. And so one thing I was thinking, you guys can let me know about this, like I'd still do the normal ticker request live, but I could do another ticker request live that would be for like those who have memberships. And I could do it like where it's $1 a month. I imagine it's the lowest it could be. And then I could just do like private ticker requests live, and we could just chat about it, just like smaller group of people who want to pay the $1 a month. So like I'm just a guy who enjoys doing this. I'm not an expert or anything, but I'd be happy to do that if you guys would find value in it. But I don't think that what I'm doing is worth charging you guys anything, because I'm just, like I say, it's just me having fun looking at charts. Yeah, Nameless, cheers. Yeah, I'm just catching up on the comments, but I'm just enjoying this. Will I still do the Charlie Chaplin / his character? I feel like my brother is very into Charlie Chaplin, but his character was the Tramp, I believe. So I think it's more, is it the Charlie Chaplin stash or is it the Tramp stash? But yeah, Alan. So what I'm planning on doing, I guess if you guys are curious about my facial hair situation, I started growing a mustache at the beginning of this year, just expecting to do it in January, but then it's like, oh, well, crap, the channel's picking up steam. I'll grow it until the channel gets monetized. And then the channel got monetized, and then it's like, well, I'll just keep it for the year. And as far as like my hair's getting pretty mangy, the reason for that is because I'm starting to get grays and I want to enjoy it while I got it. And so I'm planning on keeping the mustache for the year, growing my hair out for the year. And so the start of January, I'd be open to having a Charlie Chaplin mustache for a day, and I'd be willing to shave it on camera if you guys wanted to do that. If it was to maybe to raise money for something rather than just for me to take it. And so is this futures? Marcos, are you talking about GameStop? GameStop does, let's see. And sorry if I've frozen on DNA. I will go over the chart. GameStop currently now $30.14. So yeah, always good to not like after hours pre-market trading. That's why I do most of my analysis on the daily candles, because I feel like that's where there's no manipulation. After hours, there's less volume. So a big firm can pump a lot of money into a stock, drive it up, gets retail FOMOing in, they buy the top, then that firm sells, drops all their shares right at open, and they make money off of retail. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's putting too much into that can be kind of risky. And so, yeah, it's like 30-50. But, for me, I'm mainly waiting for options with AMC. So I'm just chilling until market opens. And maybe I'll do a pre-market stream, which will just be like me thinking about stuff. I may not respond to chat, but they'd be available for you guys to chat with each other. And so what is happening with GameStop on Robinhood? Yeah, that's their overnight trading. So Robinhood facilitates overnight trading. So it's like beyond pre-market, beyond after hours. And I just kind of view it as sketchy. It's like 24/7, or not necessarily 24/7. It's like 24/5 trading. I think that there are a lot of tops and bottoms during that time, is my understanding. So I think it's good to be cautious with it. But yeah, and I mean, I think, yeah, whatever we see price open up at, I think it's always good to wait at least 15 minutes to see how things kind of settle out at. And let's see. Um, what's the next meme stock? Guilty Gunner. For me, there's no next meme stock. There's only the meme stocks. Um, I think GameStop is like the lord of all meme stocks. So I think that's the meme stock, and I don't think it's over. And then I feel like AMC is like it's like GameStop is in the little motorcycle, and AMC is in the sidecar, and then there are another number of other ones around it. I'm not sure what they are, so I don't know what the next one is. 400 a share on morning pre-market by my calculations. Tony's saying that for GameStop. Yeah, we'll see. It's if that's the case, that's awesome. And I think things are going to really explode. If that's not the case, more time for us to accumulate. So I think that's great. Time is our friend. Unless it's like, time to, infighting or whatever, disagree with each other, because we're all coming from different places financially, and we got to respect, whether it's the size of a position or, the plan that somebody has. Got to respect everybody. We're here together to win and to make money. And so got to respect each other's limits. And how do you feel about BB? I will throw BB in this list, and I will go over it at some point. I think I actually have a couple shares in like my Moomoo account, but I don't use my Moomoo account. I think it's probably pretty down. And so that's from Mike. The PMG, the institutions who gained 30 to 200% can dilute their share positions and free roll Nvidia post split. Yeah. I don't know what that means exactly. PMG, it sounds like you're a little more familiar with that kind of stuff than I am. But yeah, I mean, Nvidia is going to have their split coming up soon. I think that would kind of bring in more. I'll have to look at the Nvidia chart after that split, the reverse, the split, not reverse split. And so Tony says pre-market, you heard it now. It's going to be 400 and dumped. That's what I've calculated. I could be wrong, but I'm bouncing about like a box of frogs right now. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I just think that throughout the duration of the month of June, I think that we're going to see a lot of volatility, and I think that's going to be both to the upside and the downside with GameStop, AMC, a lot of these stocks. I feel like Plug is in that list. At least I view it that way. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think that when we see these big moves to the upsides, there's going to be so much effort. It's like Roaring Kitty's got hundreds of millions of dollars at his exposure. These firms who are betting against it have billions of dollars at their exposure, or exposure at their, whatever that saying is. And so, yeah. So I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of waxing and waning, and so ebbs and flows. And so whenever we see pullbacks, like I feel like with AMC, with GameStop, right now we're in the middle of a pullback. This is the time to accumulate. And as long as your time horizon is not like by next week or in some cases with options by the 21st, because what might happen is leading up to the 21st, I feel like it could be suppressed as much as possible because they don't want Roaring Kitty's calls to expire in the money. But maybe his wild card is that he's going to exercise some of them. And yeah, and so I think that, the bad actors, they want to be driving price lower leading up to that point. But if they can't get it low enough, then that's just like, shaking the bottle and trying to put the cork back in it. And so then it could really pop following the 21st. And so that's also why I kind of mentioned calls, at least with AMC, going the week beyond the 21st or the month beyond into July 19th. And so let's see. Tony's saying, see you on the moon, rockets. Yeah. And, it doesn't, and actually, I wonder, I could look it up, but I'm not going to. When we landed on the moon, what date was that? I'm sure that there's this person I follow on Twitter. It's a Not So Crazy lady. She's always doing these like patterns and stuff and things. And I wonder what the date was that we first landed on the moon. I wonder if that would correspond with something going on with GameStop. And so a PMG saying they get a 10 for 1 at $1,200 after buying at $950 per share. This is referring to Nvidia, and they could sell 8 shares for $950. Ride the 2 free shares. Yeah. So so it sounds like Nvidia is probably going to be going higher, but I do think that wedge is getting to a point. And so penny stocks, come on, man. I've got one right up here. DNA. I'll do it in a second. So some Cheers stuff, man. Yeah, I'm gonna let the I'll have to catch up on this stuff before. Oh, okay. And so like Bill said something. Let's see. I'm just gonna try to. It's tough because I'm like the kind of person who like I can't skim things. I gotta do all the details. Let's see. Yeah, but and so it sounds like people are interested in membership. So I'll probably do a video on that, and that like over the course of this week, and then maybe next weekend I'll start memberships, or maybe it's a monthly thing. I don't know how that works. I got to look into it. But yeah, so I'll do DNA. Roblox gamer, I'm sorry for keeping you waiting. So let's see this. Like, so for me, looking at the chart, just like, I guess kind of giving you a breakdown of like my approach, I want to draw a downtrend or ideally an uptrend that could act as support. And then I want to draw a downtrend that would then act as resistance. And then maybe there's like a falling wedge or something. And so that's what I'm looking for. And so I see like there's a low here and a lows here that was support. Maybe I could draw that. And then actually, price goes up there. So that's really like the only way that I can do this. I like to use the ray tool. And so, yeah, I'm going to draw that from the low here to this. That suggests price is going a lot lower. And so what I would probably do instead is, because it does look like there was some support here, and I think that'd give a more gentle slope, I'd probably draw a trend line here, which I think is also going to be too, whoa, nope. That looks like there might be something there. So yeah, I mean, this is just like there's consolidation there. Clearly there's something being respected there. So just like, look at that. How can I draw a line there? And so here I've got the low on March 10th. That's at 119. And so I got that 119. Yeah, so 119, and I got the low mark there at 112. And so I'm just going to click on this to adjust those to be to the fraction of a penny here. And there's that. And so, yeah, I mean, it looks to me that we broke below that, so not so great. And so, yeah, this is disappointing. I mean, so I would say I think it's looking pretty weak, so I'd be very careful with this one. We do have, and then kind of like thinking about just like the RSI, we have lower highs forming like all along here. And we also have, this, I mean, we can kind of negate some of this because it's just been moving down. Or no, not negate it, but this is, lower highs, lower highs. This one's higher, and then following that, yeah, this is actually pretty cool. So I guess, yeah, I'm going to give a history of this chart and like how the RSI and like divergence could be helpful with it. So like here, you're breaking above 70 with the RSI. It's like 73.84. You're getting to this high up here. So it's a higher high in the price, higher high in the RSI. That is what it is. And there's no bearish divergence at this point. And then here you get a lower high in the price, also a lower high in the RSI. So that's not bearish divergence. We do see price come down, but it kind of fades. But then here we see a lower high. Actually, maybe I've thought about this wrong. Yeah, so lower high. And this is actually, yeah, I mean, from this point, that's a higher high relative to this one in the RSI. So that's a hidden bearish divergence, because bearish divergence would be higher high in the price, lower high in the RSI. And so here you have hidden bearish divergence because it's a lower high, and a higher high here. And then you see this massive move down. And so now what we're looking at is this is like in pretty oversold territory. Maybe this is a fake out break below this trend line. Maybe we want to look at this on the weekly time frame. Yeah. And so, and the thing that's cool about this, looking at it on the weekly time frame, those pivot points connect. Those are the highs, those are the lows for those weeks. So it didn't get screwed up when I changed the time scale. And then now I'm looking at it. And so this is like where confirmation comes into play. I think that this is going higher. And I could completely be wrong because it does look like it broke this level. But I'm going to give my case for why I think DNA is finding a bottom and why it could be going higher. And that's not because it's up 0.95% in the after hours trading on Friday. The reason is because I've drawn this downtrend that seems to be significant. It was significant support over here. We didn't get any trading below it. And this is on the weekly time frame, so it's a little bit more significant than looking at the daily time frame. And so we didn't see a break of it until, we saw a test of it here where we got a wick below, but we didn't close below it on this week ending May 24th. But then the following week, the week that ended on May 31st, we clearly get a break of that level. We clearly get a break of that downtrend. But what we do not have at this point is confirmation. And so confirmation is a close below or above a key level. And then confirmation or a confirming close would be a close above or below that prior days or that prior breaks high or low, whatever it is. And so here we see our first break closing the week on the 31st, and the low for that week is 50.5 cents. And so what do we close the week at? We didn't close below that. And so this to me looks bearish. It doesn't look good. But then when you look at that, I'm going to draw a line right at that, right around that. So this is being a little conservative because it's at 50.56, but we closed above that on Friday. So there's no confirmation. This is also a spinning top, which suggests there's a potential for a reversal. There's indecision to the top side. There's indecision to the bottom side with those wicks. And so this could definitely be moving up to reclaim this level. So what I'd look for, no closes during the week, although if there are closes on the daily time frame, it doesn't negate or doesn't confirm this. You need to see a weekly close below 49.24 now. Or, and actually, this gets to be a little bit gray for me because it's like, is it this low or is it this low now? I would think it's still this low, which is 50.5 cents. So if we close next week above 50.5 cents, I think that the bottom could be in, and this is a dip, a fake out, a bear trap before this starts to rally. So I'm not in it. I don't plan on getting in it. But if I had to place a bet on this, I would go long. But it could fade way more. But that's what I see in the chart. That's a pretty cool one. I feel like it's got to be on the DGened list. Yeah, thank you for the request. I hope that was helpful. And so, Ben, requesting Blink. I'll throw it up here. I got lots of requests, so it might take me a little bit to get to it. But I also do have a beverage that I'm nursing, and so it might take me a little while to finish that. And I'll stream until then. I've been going for almost 2 hours. I'll keep going. And so I don't know if I'm going to be able to read all of this stuff. Yeah, and so Gus is saying, I'm not working 100 hours a week, but I'm working. So the job that I have, the schedule that I have, I work over the course of 2 weeks. I work 84 hours. So, but one of those weeks is heavy. This past week was heavy. Next week I only work Wednesday and Thursday. But then I try to do streaming and then errands, whatever, taking care of stuff. So yeah, I don't have too much of a social life. Yeah, and also just saying this about the chat. Trey is in the chat. He's always talking about options in the Discord. So if you guys are interested in options, that's something that he's looking to get. he's interested in working on getting better at just doing was doing paper trading last week, and then you're planning on doing some, I don't know, what's non-paper trading. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole chat there on options that, I'm really interested in, just getting better, learning from people, sharing wins, all that stuff. So make sure you check it out. And so let's see. That's what. And so let's see. Oh yeah, and Trey responded that I do plan on putting a membership on it, but I'll first make a video about it just so people are aware of my intention behind it. Just because, yeah, I mean, it's not like I want to have anything exclusive, but I want to make sure that those who are really engaged can get more direct responses, whereas those who are just flipping in and out, or hanging out, willing to wait, I guess, they'll get responses when I can. But yeah, so to get kind of a smaller group of people, I guess. And so I'll definitely do that. Can I look up PACB? I'll throw it up here. PACB. And this is going to be tough for me to put ticker requests on this not ticker requests, timestamps, because there's so much stuff. DNA is doing a 50-1 split. With that being said, I mean, if you look at, I think there's if you look at KVUE, ticker symbol GOEV, they had a reverse split. I think it was 1 for 23. Rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like it. But there was a pretty nice dip, I think maybe leading up to that or right after it, and then it went like 300%. So I feel like DNA could be one that, this is potentially a great dip buying opportunity, and then it really takes off. And let's build a penny stock team. There is a penny stock channel on the Discord, and actually a lot of the stuff that's chatted about in there is penny stocks. So the GME streams and videos come up with so many theories about cards, the moon, tweets. It's literally the Q, of trading. That's what Brandon's saying. Yeah, I think that some of the conspiracy theory stuff is a little wacky. Some of it's really amusing though, at least, some people are there's no way that Roaring Kitty could have thought about all of this stuff and planned it out. It's really just coincidence or culture around these things just kind of lines up. But yeah, it's a lot of very funny stuff. I think take it like that. And so, oh, hey, thank you for the donation, Don, for the super. I appreciate it. And he's saying, yeah, share the streams, teamwork. Thank you. And let's see. And so Mac Attack is saying, I'll show my support. God bless. Everyone have a great night. And Monday is a new day and fresh start. That's for sure. And any of you guys are heading to bed soon or whatever, don't worry about me. I mean, this is fun for me, so I'll keep doing this for a little bit. And Ben, I see your request there on Blink. I think I've skipped over some just because I got a bunch of requests earlier on. And so what I might I'm so I don't know how to manage all of this stuff, and that's kind of why I think the membership would be good, because then we could more casually chat about this stuff. Let's see. Okay. We're all, yes. Yeah, and I think that's funny. I feel like being a degen is kind of like a badge of honor, just like we have senses of humor. I like to see more swing trades that are possible day trades. And also Trey was, so that's what Garrett's saying. Trey was talking about, so Trey K in the chat, he's talked a lot about wanting to do more day trades. And so I might do some day trade streams where I do some options and stuff. It's just that right now it's my focus is all on AMC. So I'm not really trying to do day trades right now, but probably over the summer, I'll definitely explore setting up a day. I'm just going to do day trading, and then maybe you could tune in after the fact if you're working, or just exploring trading options within a day. Cause I think it could be a nice way to make some money and really get better at the executing on the analysis. With stop losses as well, in case I'm wrong. And so more power to the kitty. He's a trip for sure. And Don's the man. I saw him post on Reddit. Cool. Yeah, I don't know him, but it stands out in the chat for sure. Oh, and that's his 5th super. So yeah, great to do that. Yeah, like that's very much appreciated. So thank you for that. But I also do not expect it. I don't expect all the stuff that I'm doing. You know, my goal is to get the channel to grow enough so that I can make enough money from ads so I can quit my job. So yeah, and I like for sure. And Roblox is saying I like that we're building a community. And for me, it's like, and I want it to be community driven too as well, because like a good amount of the stocks that I talk about are ones that I'm interested in, or because I think they'll get views. But then a lot of them are just like requests. And so like I've never heard of a lot of these stocks. And so this is community driven. You know, we're retail together. I just like facilitating this stuff because I started a different channel that didn't do good, and I decided to start doing this. And like I make the videos for myself, and people like them. You know, you gotta to create something that other people want. You just focus on what you want to create. That's a quote from I forget his name, but a music producer. I'm drawing a blank. And no Reddit posts, only comments. You definitely don't know me. Yeah, we're all anonymous on here. But yeah, so what I'll probably do, I'm gonna go over Blink because I know Ben, if you're still here, I'm sorry I've taken so long. But let's see, this is on the weekly time frame. Yeah, so, and I think so. This is what I'm feeling like, and I need to do another video on the EV stocks. Because for me, like I pay attention to ChargePoint because I have that, or the EV chargers. And then I think I can give kind of more of a perspective on like what I think the sector's doing. But this to me, maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like it's had like too many attempts to break out and it hasn't been able to do it. So what I could see happening, like maybe I gotta spread this out. This is ugly, but maybe this is a left shoulder. This is kind of like a flat head. And then let's see if I draw a trend, or just like, if I draw this, yeah, that doesn't work at all. Oh no, so like maybe it comes down to connect with this. And so what I could see maybe is like from here to here. I'm just curious where this would line up. That would not be good. So I'm gonna scratch that. Maybe that's not something. Portfolio, Julie's asking, do I do a portfolio review? EV and pot stocks are looking good. So somebody was talking about dip buys. I agree with you as far as I'll say cannabis stocks. Sometimes words can be like trigger words on here or something. But yeah, I haven't done one of those in a while. And I think partly because, it's like whenever there's a stock or a sector that's like rallying a bunch, what I've noticed is that videos get a lot of views. But whenever it pulls back, whenever it's like the time to be adding, dip buying, whatever, videos don't get views because it's boring. Accumulating is boring. But that's when you make the most money, is by buying the dip and then, do whatever on the rip. And so I think like a very interesting thing, like you can use kind of the channel as like what videos are getting a lot of comments, what are people saying in them. The SoFi video that I did right before their earnings, there are a bunch of comments of people like, I'm being harsh, but like trashing me, saying that I'm wrong, that the price is not going down. And they were just like being very emotional about my call that price would go down. And so their emotions in the comments were kind of like a tell that they're being too emotional. The opposite's probably going to happen. And then you can also check like what videos are getting a lot of views. And then if it's a lot of views, or not a lot of views, maybe that's bottom could be near. And so I started writing cannabis, but I didn't write it. Cannabis. All right. And so Donnie invited me here. I'm not the stock guru. I'm just a guy who likes to chart, and grow a channel. And it helps me because I used to, I chart a little bit, but I wouldn't do it that much. And so I just get more practice because of the channel. So it's like a synergy. And so if I'm helpful to you guys, that's great. But like, I like to think of it as just like we're buddies at a bar chatting about stocks. That, I'm not a guru or anything. I'm just a guy who likes doing this. Sometimes my calls are good, sometimes they're not. I try to caution to the upside and the downs, or I try to give possibilities to the upside as well as downside. So, prepared for risk. But yeah, cheers to just being buddies, enjoying the evening together. That's what we're doing. And you're a GameStop trader. Cool. Yeah, I have a little bit of GameStop, but I'm mainly an AMC, but I just like the community. And yeah, so I'm going to go over Blink. I feel like this is going to break down. I'll do an EV charger video soon. Yeah, give some updates on that. And as far as EV stocks go, I really want to do a follow-up on Rivian, but I just never have time for it. But that's one that I'm interested in. And do cheap memberships for the first week, man. Be a huge for growth. Yeah, so I plan on doing, like, I'll make a video on memberships just to kind of explain it, what my intention is. And then I'll create the memberships after that. Or maybe I'll record the video and then set up the memberships. I haven't done that yet, so I'll have to figure it out. And so, yeah, Blink, I will go over. I do have it noted here. I'm just going to go down the list because I'm going to be jumping around. Biora, I'll get to in a second, but Blackberry here. Yeah, man. I mean, I think, like, excuse me. Yeah, I just got a couple shares for, like, pretty cheap. I don't know what these alerts are, but it's probably like, yeah, I think my average is probably up here or something. Or maybe not. Maybe, yeah, no, it's not around current price. What do I see with this on the weekly? Maybe I want to look at this on the monthly. Wow, this is crazy. I feel like there's potentially, well, let's see. Because there's like a little bit of an uptrend there, so maybe there's some support. So this is looking at the monthly. No idea. I think this is like one of the cool things. It's like you can do a blind trend line and see if it is at all significant. So that's 141, and that's 1392. 1392. Okay. So I'm just going to draw that 1392 and 14. Okay, so that's good. So there's a trend line there that has a slight upslope. We'll see if that's potentially acting as support right now or if it's broken. And so that's tough. It looks like it's breaking. But there's, maybe something there. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Like, you draw that line from like way back in time, and we're right around there. Like, could I, and this is the monthly. But yeah, I mean, that's right there, the floor over there. And then it's been, wow. Look at that though, super cool. Technical analysis, people say it doesn't work. Look at that, how it just, maybe it's just coincidence too, But $2.70 is a pretty nice bounce there. And, if one had noticed that line, that's almost 1,000% swing over the course of about, that's months. So wait, okay, so bars. Yes, that's about less than a year, about 10 months. Yeah, 10 months. And so if I look at this over here, I would probably then want to see if there's a downtrend that could be acting as support. This is just super rough. Yeah, I mean, so I would say that this is like the lowest I would think it would go. I'm just going to do this approximately just like for sake of time. Where's that? Yeah, so, I mean, but that's coming down. I don't think it's going that low. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. This is a rough one. I don't, but yeah, I'll look at the daily, see if maybe there's something. So I'm just thinking like maybe from these highs, there's a trend line. That's going to be too low. Maybe from there. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it's taking a step back. It's looked like it's faded a lot. And Yeah, well, so I could do, I think, a Fibonacci extension. So just coming from here to the top, down to here, and then up to here. That should give me some levels that might be respected. And it looks like a 786. So I guess I'd look for like 250. Hopefully that's held. The lows here were 246. You get a close below 246. I think it's going down lower, so be cautious of that. But if it does come down lower and it respects 250, I think that's okay. So that's the extent of my thoughts on that, just based on that quick Fibonacci extension. So hopefully that was helpful. And let's see. I don't know that I've ever covered that before, so I'll add it to the list. And, FOMC on Wednesday. I'm working Wednesday, so that sucks. Polls on stock reviews. So, like, Laura, would you like me to post a poll on, like, would you rather I go over ticker 1, ticker 2, ticker 3, or ticker 4 and see about that? I'd be happy to do that on the channel. And if I'm torn between doing something, I can definitely do that. I've done that before, but they don't really get they don't get too much traction. Like if I posted on the channel, like on the community page, they would never get, like it'd be a couple people. But then if I posted on Twitter, it'd be a ton of people. But then the people on Twitter don't tune in. So I'd be happy to do that on the channel if you'd like to see some polls. And so do I know anything about fundamentals, or am I more TA? I'd say I'm more TA. I'd say pretty rarely do I get into fundamentals. I just enjoy the charts, and I feel like more like than just TA. Like I really enjoy kind of thinking about the psychology of trading and like the emotions that people are going through. And so I like to use that as a tool. But that's, I don't know, it's just thinking about the psychology behind it. So I enjoy that as like a complement to the charts. And so let's see. Sunday nights are the best for drinking. And yeah, cheers, Don. I am getting close to actually, I'm probably about a third left of that. So, and so let's see. Martin, slap an ad on us before bed. I'm going, slap an ad on you guys. Oh yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I've been trying to, I have it where they do them automatically, but in all honesty, streams don't really yield that much. So I'd rather not take away from your guys' experiences by having ads in them. But I have them placed automatically, and I try to cancel them when they pop up. Yeah, so good night, Jared. Take care. Sorry if I missed that. It was a few minutes ago. Hopefully I caught you. And Sarah says, I saw my uncle. Whoa. And I don't know. Let's please talk about. Yeah, okay. Did the stream just start? No, it's been like this evening, or I've been doing ticker requests live since like October, I think. Pretty much every Sunday I started doing them by myself. And actually on Twitter I posted like my pinned tweet is announcing, the weekly streams back in October, I think. And so FOMC Wednesday, that's a joke, right? Yeah, she's probably joking. We have been on for over an hour. Sam, well, thanks for hanging out. It's fun. I mean, this is like my Friday night. It's fun to hang out and then be thinking about stocks before the market opens. Maybe try to do at least like 3 videos a week, 5 minutes each, off polls and comments. I can definitely try to do that. So maybe I could do it like on certain days. Like, I guess it would depend on my work schedule. I'll probably have to shift, but I could do poll one day. I'm not planning on doing one. Like I'll do one of these, but of these 4, you guys pick 24 hours, and I'll just limit it to being on the community page of the channel. So I won't put it out on Twitter, because then, people just participate and don't watch. Yeah, and let's see. Crisis King saying, hey, Eddie, what's up? Saw Max post on Twitter, but I'm late. Yeah, no problem. I've been streaming for a little while. Can you post a watch list? Saley? I'm not sure I understand. Daily, a watch list. As far as stocks go, I think the best way to kind of get something like that is probably, I don't know, maybe like Wall Street Bets might be a good place to go because there are always people talking about things to watch. Or somebody has talked about stock twits, but then I do have a Discord and it's free for people to join. You can just share ideas and stuff there. And so I'll post that in the chat. Let's see. So I got it copied on my phone, and then I'll just paste it here. I did post it earlier, but that should be the link. And so let's see. Yeah, so there's the link to that. And so I'm just going to try to like go down this list and try to get to all of these tickers because I know some people have been waiting, hanging out. Hopefully you're enjoying your time and I'm not wasting it by not getting to your ticker more efficiently, but just trying to balance it, the tickers in the chat. And so Biora, I hadn't looked at this in a while because I was like thinking, I mean, I'll buy the dip if it comes down to 40 cents or this like trend line, but it didn't, it bounced. Now it looks like it's come back to this prior low. I think this is actually going to be, I'm going to write Biora down. I should do a follow-up and then also do polls for requests and videos. So yeah, I think that could be a nice way for me to do kind of like a community ranked video and maybe do that 2 or 3 times a week. I think that's a good idea. But yeah, so for this, I think it's probably getting rejected there. And I mean, just like looking at these lines, I mean, to me, it just like kind of paints the picture. It's moved up to this level that's acted as prior resistance. Also from this gap down, came to that level. It was support over here a little bit approximately, and that was the low over here. So it makes sense. Price could be getting rejected there. That's an important level. But when it did dip below this low over here at 58.50, I could see it pulling back to 58.50, finding that as support. And then maybe it takes a little while of consolidation and then it breaks out of this yellow downtrend and then fills the gap. So, and that would be like breaking out of that cross is right around the beginning of August. So yeah, I mean, I like if it can hold 58.50, I think that'd be good, but I think it might be pulling back to that level. So like for me, I'm being patient with like my position. I'm just chilling and yeah. So I think it's a waiting game for Biora. So one to not get too worried about, in my opinion. And so CORZ, I don't know that anybody requested this. This chart's looking pretty crazy though. I think we can all agree. I don't know when this was requested, but it looks like I'll just go over that why I think this is a topping signal. This is the daily chart. And so the reason why I think this is I think it's very clearly a topping signal. The reason why, okay, so we have this gap up. So there's that. That's a pretty big gap. And then we get this big wick to the upside on Thursday, but it's still a green candle, you know, nothing too crazy. But then on Friday, massive wick up, hitting higher than that, but not closing higher than that high, and closing in the bottom quarter of the trading for Friday. And so that is what is referred to as a topping tail, which you can't do this all the time. Like this wick up here on the green candle, that's not a topping tail because it didn't close in the bottom quarter and because, you know, that's an all-time high. So this right here, though, that's a topping signal. And so I could see this pulling back. And one thing, I mean, the chart's pretty limited here, but one thing that we can do is a Fibonacci extension going from, you know, the high here, you know, the low here, and then up to this, you know, where might price go to? And so the 100% retracement corresponds with, you know, a gap fill pretty perfectly. So the close on June 3rd was at a price of $4.87, $4.86.3. It was approximately drawn, but that's a pretty good matchup. So I could see this pulling back to fill that gap, may retrace to the scene of the crime. And so I referred to the scene of the crime as this trend line here because there was a break and a test. Yeah, it's like cup and handle, kind of ugly. But yeah, so I think it could be coming back to $5, right around there. Maybe it doesn't come back all the way. So hopefully that was helpful. And I believe this has to be on the, no, not on the DGen end list. I've clearly gone over it. All right, and then so next one on the list, Hycroft Mining. This is one, actually, it's kind of funny. So I have a very small position. I think I have like 4 shares, pretty pathetic. But it's just like, I'll add a little bit, Excuse me. And then I think on the 4th, I was like, my position's not big. I just kind of want to consolidate, focus on AMC and stuff. And I think I set a sell order on the 4th, like, I think probably at the high of the day, but it was like after the fact, and then it just pulled back. And it's like, well, whatever, I'll hold my 4 shares. And, now it's like, well, I'm committed. I could just cut the loss, but I'm committed. And, I could, 275, that seems like a level that it's potentially respecting. So I'd probably look for that. I'm just not going to be paying too close attention to Hycroft because, yeah, but, let's see, volume profile. There's not much down here until like 219. So, yeah, for me, I'll just be probably chilling with my shares, like the 4 shares that I have, nothing big. And then if it dips down to like 219, it's like, hell yeah, I'm going to load the boat. But, with that being said, this downtrend here, there was a break below it. Maybe price could be coming back to that. So, yeah, I just look for how it behaves around 275. Ideally not getting closes below it, as it does seem like, support over here, overlap of these candles. So there's a little bit more trading action there that's going to potentially act as support. And so, I guess I'd look for like going down to like 269, let's say. Getting down there, it might start to break and head lower. So yeah, the videos that I do on Hycroft, I'm usually pretty conservative about it, and they don't tend to be that popular. But yeah, so hopefully that was helpful if you're still around. KVUE, I imagine. I forget who requested this. I will add UVIX. And so I'll get to, I'm just working my way down the list. Unfortunately, that's close to the bottom. And what are your top 10 or 5 penny stocks this week? And so I've been working all weekend, so I haven't really looked at anything, so I have no idea. But I have the link to the Discord. There are a lot of people in there that pay attention to penny stocks and are looking for in and out plays. So Lonnie, I'd recommend checking out that Discord. It's free. And just people chatting about stocks, sharing ideas. And so I'd recommend it. We're a team for sure. Yeah, retail is here together. Annie respected me on Twitter and doesn't agree with me all the time. I'm going to assume you say all the time. I post, but we find those stocks that are heating up with high short interest and low RSIs. With high short interest and low RSIs. Cool. Yeah, and so I would recommend, if you're looking for plays too, I'd recommend following Mac Attack on Twitter because that's how we connect. And he actually sends, this weekend's just, every other weekend I'm usually working a lot, and this one was just a rough one. And with AMC and GameStop stuff going on, it's just been kind of intense. But yeah, I'd recommend following him on Twitter. He's got a lot of good calls. Called Barnes and Noble Education, BNED, and is about taking profits on the way up and letting the rest ride. So I think it's a good strategy. So I'd recommend following him. Chris, thanks for hanging out. It's been fun. And so yeah, I'm just gonna try to make my way down this list, and I'll try to add timestamps tomorrow. But it's like doing timestamps takes a long time. So I need to get the channel to be profitable enough so I can hire somebody to do that. But that's gonna take a while. And Dean, I have like a personal Facebook account, but I don't really use it anymore. I pretty much just off Facebook. And so the best place to follow me is Twitter. or X. I do have links. I post the link in most videos, and it's also on the page of the channel. It should be dgen_an, A-N, because dgened was taken, and I go by Andy or Andrew, and Andy was taken, dgen Andy, so I just went with dgen-an. And so follow me there. I'm pretty active on Twitter. I don't necessarily post a lot other than videos, but I'm trying to get more active, you know. But yeah, lots of fun stuff on there. Don, take care. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, so I will continue to make my way down this list, and I will go with KVUE. Man, it's kind of like always refreshing to look at new charts, but it can also be kind of like tough. So because it's like I don't know where to start. And so this, I should maybe like set a timer and do these like in 1 minute. This is putting in a lower low, but what was the low over here? The low over here was 1841, and there was a close below 1841. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, and so this is like what I think is kind of you know, maybe a tell. Here you have the low, and then you have this pullback, but you get a low that's not as low, and a close that's not as low, and then it goes up. So that was a dip buying opportunity. This one is a close 1839, which is lower than this low, and so that makes me feel like it's not going to bounce. I think KVUE is likely to go down further, potentially to, I don't know if it's going to test all-time lows, but maybe we could do a Fibonacci retracement from, I'm just going to do this approximately. Maybe I can get it to the penny. 85. Yep, there we go. And so I'd say that this could be coming down to 1825. I'd look to see how it respects that level. That is to the penny, this Fibonacci retracement. So I'd look for that. If it breaks 1825, I think it's revisiting 1727 or maybe 1750. So be careful with it. Yeah, so I'm going to add that to the dgen-ed list, but delete it from here. KZR. I don't know that anybody actually requested this, and so I might just move along. And so I will move on to, and I think Luminar was from a previous one, PACB, Pacific Biosciences. Let's see. This to me, I mean, it got a wick up here, not able to fill the gap. RSI is pretty, I mean, it's pretty, I guess, neutral. Maybe there's a trend line that would suggest it's at resistance, though. It's just going from the low here. Maybe it's at support. That's interesting. I'm intrigued by that. I was expecting this to be above the line. But yeah, so I guess what I would look for is if like this low here, or maybe go to this low, like the recent low relative to that line. So this was at a price of, the low was here, $1.73. And so I look for, if it pulls back, if it gets a close below $1.73, or actually I could just go to this low, $1.71. If it gets a close below $1.71, I think it's going lower. I think it's breaking that downtrend, and but I'm just gonna do this up here. But if it gets a little bit of a pullback, that could be like, you know, a retest scene of the crime and then bounce. So I could see that as, you know, this sideways move has bored people out of positions, and maybe it's broken out from that downtrend. So I think it's a cool chart. Whoever requested it, not pretty sure you're not here. And Alan says, let's dgen ed trades, let's make a group. Well, so there is that dgen trades, let's make a group. Yeah, there is the dgen ed Discord. You're welcome to join, but you guys are also welcome to make your own thing too. That's totally fine. But yeah, it's a free Discord, and you know, it really just started up a few subscribers who I think know each other from outside of the YouTube community. You know, were encouraging me of doing it, and they, I facilitated it, but they, kind of guided me in setting up, because I'm pretty new to Discord. But yeah, so PACB, hopefully that was helpful. And I will add this to DGenEd and delete it from here. Now, UVIX, sorry, I'm going to skip over these. I'm just trying to go through it alphabetically because I got to wind this down at some point. And on that note, I'm going to have a little more of this, because I'll stream until I finish that, and I'm probably just going to slam it when I get done through this list. I'm still here. Oh, Chad, glad that was helpful. Yeah, it's a cool chart. I think there's some hope in it, but I pay attention to that level because maybe it's false hope, but I'm intrigued by the chart. So, and then so UVIX, and this I got to learn more about this before I talk about it. The investment seeks daily investment results before. So this is like the volatility index, right? Or it's a way to buy the volatility index. Without my understanding of the volatility index, the VIX, is that it's really just like options, that it's like time-based. And so this is a way to just buy it and wait. And so, yeah, I mean, this thing, we've got a little bit of a spike here. I'd look for it to flatten. Like here you see it flatten and then it moved up. And so, I don't know. I mean, it flattened here and then it broke down. But let's see. I mean, what is maybe a tell, and maybe I'm pulling this out of my ass, but here, it's like you get an uptick in the RSI, but it's still not oversold. And then here you get a dip into oversold, which is below 30. This is at 28.24. And then you get an uptick. And so maybe that, yeah, this is like forming higher lows in the RSI, whereas this is kind of flat. I don't know. But as far as the UVIX goes, I mean, I feel like really this is like, is the SPX, is the S&P 500 topping? And I think it is, but I think it could also go lower. And maybe this is going to be useful if I switch this over to the log scale. We'll see if that suggests, I mean, it's just going to be, this is what it's going to suggest. Well, oh, it's the log scale, so that's not going to work. Maybe I just do a parallel, go from maybe the high here, low there. So that's, approximate. I think that this could, yeah, I mean, and look at this too. So the lowest low over here is hit on, I'm going to switch this back over to linear. So it doesn't really affect it too much in the shorter time frame. But the lowest low over here, I mean, the lowest close, let's do it based on close. We got our first close below that low. So I would look for another close below this line, which here the low was 596, here 596. So 596. If we get another, really a confirming close. If we get a close below 578, which is Friday's low, that's a confirmation of a break below this prior low. I don't know how something like the 2x long VIX goes. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that this could go lower, but it could also, this could be like a fake out break lower, and then it consolidates here around $5.96 or $6. So I would think that the bottom's not in necessarily, but maybe it's just like a little bounce like this before going lower. So I don't know. Hopefully that's helpful. I'm not too familiar with looking at it though. Will big lots squeeze like GameStop? I have no idea. I think though that like we might be getting into like the season of squeeze-in where, it's like, let's say as far as the squeeze play goes, like if it's AMC and GameStop, for example, let's say things are happening with GameStop for like fundamental reasons, but those fundamental reasons aren't shared by, or the same fundamental reasons aren't going on with AMC. But those who are shorting GameStop are also shorting AMC. That creates kind of like, a situation where shorts are having to cover GameStop, and because of that, they're having to move their funds around, and then AMC goes up and other ones go up. And so I think that there could be a number of like sympathy plays like that. But before I get too far into, and so Paul, let's see. So Guilty Gunner, I love short squeeze plays, but you can't hold long term for sure. And I think that it's very tricky to do that. People get very attached to them if they hold them for a while. AMC, GameStop, and so I think it's good to like, if one is to, like diamond hand for something like that, I think it's good to kind of like allocate, like, I want this much, I'm always going to be a shareholder, but the rest, I'll take profits at whatever level, and then with that, you make more in profit than what you're still holding, and then you can still diamond hand that portion. You can add on dips, and you can always be involved with the company. But if it's something where it's just like Barnes & Noble Education, you just want to swing up, yeah, you got it. You can't hold them too long. And Paul, you're asking, if you do memberships, will you try to respond to those comments first? So what I'll probably do with memberships is I'll probably host private streams. So just the smaller group of those who are members, I respond to you guys more directly. And so I feel like that's kind of the way that I do that. And then I might maybe be a little bit more open, I guess, about like my trades and what I plan on doing. But I have to say, like, I'm not like a huge trader or anything. I don't have exposure to a lot of capital and stuff. So I'm just trying to, read the charts and do the best that I can with that. But usually, like, it's like we'll see what happens over the next couple months with like AMC and GameStop, but I think I'll be in a much better position in a couple months to have a little bit more agility with that. And so, you like swing trades the most, is Jared. And so, I'm going to continue down this list because I can feel my eyes closing. I'm fading a little bit. And so I'm just going to, I'm familiar with the UVIX. I'll probably look at it later. VIGL, I can't imagine the person who requested this is still around, but this looks like it's up 14% in the after hours, so maybe there's something there. But, why did it stop at the high of $6.06? So you see the bottom over here, and this is also kind of like an inverse head and shoulders a little bit. Let's actually see what kind of, here, I'll just draw horizontal. I won't do let's see. How am I going to do this? You see, this is me being tired. I'll do trend line. Okay, so let's say this is, okay, cool. So there's a head and shoulders pattern, let's say. And then from that, I'm going to take a measurement. I want to do going from the bottom here up to the top. This is just kind of for curiosity's sake, going up there. So it went higher than that, but it did kind of consolidate around that level. So it's like a measured move. And let's see. This could be, the way that I see this, I can't spend too much time on these. Otherwise, I'm just going to like fade. But I view this as a topping signal that the reason for that, there's this big wick to the upside, but then also, even though it was a green candle, so not only did it move up relative to the day before, but it closed higher than it opened. And so that's great, but it closed in the bottom quarter of the trading for that day. So that makes me think this is a topping signal. And so I could see a pullback, and the way that I would assess that pullback is I do a retracement from the low here, which is 247, going up to the high of 106. Got that lined up just right. And so here, what I would say is I would wait for a pullback to these two, the 65% retracement to the 618, that's referred to as the golden pocket. It also does seem to correspond with the tops over here. So I think that's going to be pretty robust support. So I would wait for a pullback to around 380, let's say, because maybe it doesn't come all the way down to the 65% level at 372.7. But the 618 is at 384.1. And so from current price, that would represent a pullback of about 17%. So I'd wait for that. But maybe, this does, continue higher. I don't really know. And so, yeah, the Ape Father. So I think you're saying a Leaf chat open to everyone, so you keep growing. So what I plan on doing is I was thinking about I'd still do ticker requests live on Sundays. The length of them will depend. I'm not working tomorrow, so I can do this late. Actually, I think I'm taking vacation next Monday, so I could do it late again. But I do the normal ticker request live Sunday evenings, leave that open to anybody who wants to join. But then I'd probably do membership streams, and maybe I could do those on Saturdays or something. And that would just be a smaller group of people chatting about stuff. And so that might be a nice way to give more value to people who want to pay, like, I think $1 a month, I think is the lowest a membership could be. But I haven't looked into it, so I'll definitely look into it. But yeah, I definitely want to still do ticker request live open to people. And so you're saying Trey's Trade sold all of his AMC when they created Ape. People hate him, but his 240,000 would be 30K now. Adam and Aaron. So that's Trey's mustache is saying that. I don't agree with you as far as the opinion about Adam Aaron. Yeah, I mean, I think that, I don't know, like, I can't imagine, like, getting to the point of, like, popularity as far as streaming goes. I feel like, people kind of have to lose it a little bit. And also, I really like Trey a lot. I have a lot of respect for him. And I don't think the Ape thing was that great of an idea. In retrospect, I was wondering about it when it was happening, but I feel like it was a way to raise capital without diluting, and shareholders kind of prevented that from happening. So I feel like it was kind of a loophole. But yeah, I mean, I think that popcorn, which I mean was an idea from investors, and I think AMC distribution are really good ideas. So I have a lot of hope for the company, but I don't think it's in as good of a position as GameStop financially, but I do think that AMC distribution there's potential to disrupt the industry that is Hollywood. And so I think there's a lot of potential there. And so yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what happens, but I think it's, I think that, he raised capital to be able to do something like AMC distribution. And yeah, so, I mean, we'll have to see. And I think that he's way more heavily invested in AMC than any of us are. But at the same time, it's like Roaring Kitty. He's got so many millions of dollars. Money doesn't really matter that much at that point. And next paycheck, I'll buy all of us early memberships for a month. Yeah, Don. Yeah, we'll see. It's like the video on Roaring Kitty is. This is me getting tired. On his not exercising his options. Man, I'm tired. That really blew up. So yeah, we'll see how it keeps growing, and we'll see if I'm able to keep my job all year. But because my goal would be to keep it to the end of the year, and then give a couple months into next year and do this full time. But we'll see. But yeah. So anyways, those are my thoughts on VIGL. And I'm going to add that to the DGen Ed list. When that hits 1,000, I'm going to throw a little stream party or something. And then so, yeah, this one, I don't know if that person's still here. If KZ are still requested, I'll go over it. Yeah, hey, good night, Don, if you're taking off. Yeah, I'll see whatever like the lowest amount that I can do for memberships, and yeah, if it gets to be like too crowded, then I'll yeah raise it to kind of filter out the people or filter in the people that are really wanting the engagement and stuff. And so I might do XTIA. Actually, I don't know if who requested this is still here. So like Don, I might rather than raise the membership cost right now, because I don't even have a membership, which I will probably create, rather than raising any of that, I might raise this and say, it's been really fun streaming with you guys. This is, I think, my longest ticker request live, or one of them, 2 hours and 44 minutes. So thanks for hanging out. I'm going to wind this down. I'm just going to throw this up while I enjoy this. Probably about here, so I'm just going to slam that. Actually, not. Maybe I'll do a couple slams. But yeah, this chart here, that big red day down move, I don't know, it doesn't look so good, but yeah. And by the way, did House of the Dragon start tonight or whatever that is? Because I want to watch that, but I'm probably going to crash soon. Oh, wait. I almost made Ed go away. I meant to make the subscribe go away. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'll put out a video explaining what I intend to do with the membership, and I'll have that probably by next weekend. And so, yeah, and there are a couple people, a few people that have really been the driving force behind the Discord. And so they might want to be moderators because they've helped facilitate a lot as it is already. What's my portfolio looking like? Maybe I'd share that for like members and stuff. My portfolio, to be honest, is not that exciting. Right now, I'm really just pretty heavily in AMC. Have a small position in GameStop I wish was larger. And then I hold, I'm not sure what the next largest position is. Probably ChargePoint. Then maybe Biora, Therapeutics, and then I also have a good amount of Luminar, ticker symbol LAZR. And so I think those are my largest holdings. And yeah, and we'll see. I through doing this channel. And I do have some calls. I have a call with American Airlines, strike at $10 that expires in July. I'm probably actually going to close that out sooner because I'd rather put that on AMC. Not that I don't think I'd make money on it, but I just think I'd make faster money with AMC. And then also I have a Plug Power $3 strike call that expires in a couple weeks. Might expire worthless, but I'd like to exercise that because I think Plug looks pretty interesting. But yeah, doing charts for the videos and all that gets me interested in a lot of stuff, but I don't have enough on the side to partake in too many. But yeah, let's see. Is the Ape Father in my Discord? He's definitely welcome to join. And so he might have already because the Discord's been growing a little bit more recently. So he might definitely be in there. And let's see. Yeah. And King Gerald, have a great week to you as well. Did you say a 16-hour shift? That's rough. I do 12-hour shifts and those drain me. And so, yeah, let's see. With all of that, it's been so fun hanging out, and I'll see you guys. I'll probably do a stream during market hours at some point, likely for sure Friday. But other than that, I'll just be trying to get videos out, and I'll put timestamps on this at some point over the course of maybe tomorrow and the day after. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Take care and good night. Dean, take care.